Shoulder.
Are you willing to sacrifice your life?
This is row one, seat one.
Well, this is nice. When did we start doing this? Nobody told me about this. I thought everything sucked now. Do you have a card?
You get COVID? It's over. COVID said, oh, I see you having a good season. It'd be a shame if I knocked over the microphone for those listening and not watching the video.
If he dies, he dies.
He dies. He dies.
There is no one on that Broncos team that I love more right now than Von Miller. That man is an absolute goddamn legend. He could come into my house and fuck my wife, and I would say, thank you very much, sir.
Man to man, I don't know.
The mayor of New Orleans basically came out twirling the umbrella like, fuck Drew Brees and his wife.
Who'd you rather have sex with?
We would be.
I'm an island boy.
I'm a just island boy.
I picture
That's it.
Joey now on every Sunday watching Teddy Two Gloves, like that SpongeBob meme where he's like dried out with the eyes fucking like bloodshot. Like, you damn kids! Walk, walk.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Row One, Seat One. Thank you all for joining us.
Oh,
I am your host, Joey Fats. With me, as always, please, Mr. Sean Bettencourt.
Oh, are we also hosts? Are we co-hosts? How does that work? I don't know how that works.
I mean, you're like co-hosts because like it's my name on the show, but you're kind
it's
of
like
the
host, co-host,
co-hosts.
guest,
Multiple
Guest.
Guest,
He just says guest.
Paul's just like, I'm here for the comedic relief.
Yeah, don't take my sports takes seriously at all because usually I'm mixing something the fuck up and I don't know what I'm talking about.
But we set you straight, though. You know, usually we know what you're getting at. We can
Yeah.
kind of just guide you to that.
Yeah. Nobody ever. Just don't take me seriously at all. That's just the bottom line. Of it.
Okay.
Sounds like you're setting yourself up for something here. I don't know. I don't know if I like this.
It is true. He was just like, yo, I'm all in on Carson Wentz.
I did not say that.
In
like,
November, you did.
He's like,
No,
I'm all
I
in on
said-
Carson
well,
Wentz. And if we
because
can't
I-
get Carson Wentz, I want Jimmy Garoppolo.
I said I was all in on Carson Wentz because that's my quarterback and I have to be as a Colts fan. Halfway through the season, I'm sitting here going, damn, I'm really not mad at the way he's playing. At the end of the season, before the Jaguars game, actually before the Raiders game, I'm like, man, I'm really not bad. I'm like, we got a couple games where maybe we shouldn't have thrown some left-handed pick sixes and shit like that, but, you know, for the most part, he played well. And then
End of December, you're like, screw your TV. My
and then
shoulder.
And then I'm like,
Shoulder.
yeah, it was bad.
Joey Fats Radio, Row 1, Seat 1, 774-992-8702 is the phone number. We got a lot to talk about tonight, as always.
I can't even send you that video anymore. I got banned. The guy got banned.
Oh, it
permanent
did?
ban. Yeah,
It did?
The guy who shared that video got banned for like hateful speech.
I think I saved it in
That
the
video?
Oh yeah, I wonder
Okay.
why.
I think I saved it in the WhatsApp app.
Oh, then you're good then.
I think I have it saved, a hard copy. We can't tell you what video and we can't play it, but man, we can tell you it is
that guy is
quite amusing.
spicy.
Quite amusing. It is not from this country.
It's from Ukraine.
No, China.
I know.
We're trying not to narrow it down.
Well, I mean, we can say what the
Two
video.
individuals were not very happy.
We can say what the video like kind of was, but we just can't say it or play it
yeah.
for obvious reasons. So, that being said, anyway, we got a lot to talk about tonight, guys. We got a lot to get into. We'll be taking your calls all night, 774-992-8702. If you want the audio-only stream of the show, you don't want to watch it on Facebook Live, but you still want to listen live, you can click that link in the description, mixlr.com, mixlr.com/Joey-Fats, and that will take you to a little website. You can just click Listen Now, and boom, there you go. You'll also have all of our shows that we've ever done. Don't go back too far. They get pretty bad at some points. There's some pretty rough stuff.
Nah, not that bad. How come the show's not working for me?
I don't know. It's working for me. It's working for me just fine, sir. But we'll get into we're gonna get into a bunch of stuff. We'll get into the most cryptic Instagram post of all time from Aaron Rodgers. We'll dive into the Brady drama. We will get into
I hate the
quarterback carousel. We'll get into the drama surrounding the NFL and the NFL Combine, which will be, Sean dodged a huge bullet there because without the Combine, if the NFL hadn't given in to these 150 rookies that were like, no, we're not doing this bubble shit anymore, and the NFL had said, no, yes, you are, and they said, okay, fine, we'll see what our pro day, Sean would have had a heart attack. I don't know what Sean would have done without the Combine.
I know. I'm not watching all these individual pro days, which are all bullshit.
Well, I mean, sometimes the pro days are better than the Combine.
Not
but
real. It depends
who
you are.
Sometimes.
Like, how many times did we see, like, last year alone when Trevor Lawrence was making these, like, guys on the Clemson team looking like all-stars, and then those guys are going to be, like, undrafted out of the league in, like, 6 months? I
mean, that is part of it. Yes, that is definitely part of it. But, you get guys that will do, like, sometimes a big trend lately has been, big guys won't bench at the Combine, they'll bench at their pro day, or fast guys won't run at the Combine, but they'll run at their pro day. And you're like, well, I mean, we kind of want to know, like, who the fastest guy in Indianapolis is because, we want to see who the next, Oakland Raiders going to be. Like, give us that anyway.
Right.
But we'll get into that. We will get into a little bit of baseball. We got a little bit of NBA to talk about. We'll talk a little bit about NASCAR since we are coming off of the Daytona 500.
Baseball.
What do you think people care less about right now, baseball or NASCAR?
Baseball.
Good answer, because NASCAR has sold out the Daytona 500 for the first time in like 15 years.
Yeah, but I mean, like, baseball like buries themselves. They're just like, we talked for 7 minutes and we didn't get along. I'm like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
And someone said today, or yesterday, whatever day it was, they were like, oh, John Henry's been the voice of reason. And I'm like,
Jesus.
I'm like, the alien is like the voice of reason. You guys should whisper over here and make this Players Association. I can't stand John Henry at all. I just really can't. He sounds like dying E.T. when they find him all white and albino in the field.
Like, I love him in what's his name? Let's Go Red. Tom Werner.
Was that Warner or was that Lucchino? No, that was Werner.
That was Werner, yeah. Werner. Let's go Red Sox. The most unenthusiastic chant of all time.
And the fans that just witnessed the team win a World Series were just like, nah.
Yeah.
Anybody but this dude.
Like, get this fucking old guy off my fucking stage. But anyway, so let's start off with the Aaron Rodgers shit because this was
cryptic.
I mean, to say the least, and the big winner in this whole Aaron Rodgers dropping this incredibly cryptic Instagram post about gratitude and thanking his now soon-to-be ex-fiance. The biggest winner in this whole thing was, without a doubt, Juwan Howard.
Oh, I was going to say Pat McAfee.
No, Juwan Howard. Well, Pat McAfee would be the number 2 biggest winner because everybody forgot that Juwan Howard, punched a guy in the face on Sunday. That was the big talk Monday. And,
let's be real. That was a
Saturday, rather.
That was an awkward slap.
It was a mush.
He caressed his face.
Oh, we have the video. We'll show you the video.
It's weird. He's like I'm angry.
Yeah, I saw the highlights about whatever Aaron Rodgers' thing was, but I just didn't get around to clicking it today.
So Aaron Rodgers posted on Monday night, and we have the Instagram post here for you to show you.
Dude, David Bakhtiari was just like, he posted that GTA gif of like, oh shit, here we go again, and it made me laugh. Because he's just the offensive lineman for Rodgers for his entire career, and he's just like,
oh, did I not put it up here?
He's just like, oh, this shit happens every year with Rodgers at this point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, what was the general ballpark of the message?
It's all over the map. That's what he's bringing up right now. Like, the message is just like, it sounds like, maybe I'm retiring. Maybe I love this man. Maybe I want to go play somewhere else. Maybe I'm just really upset and depressed. Like, it goes all over the map. Like,
really?
Yeah.
So here's the Aaron Rodgers Instagram post. We'll put it up on the screen. On the screen.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers
Joe
was,
Dick.
here's some Monday Night Gratitude for some of the incredibly special people in my life. Those are pictures from this last beautiful year. The first person he said at is Shailene Woodley, his now soon-to-be ex-fiance. Thanks for letting me chase after you the first couple months, letting me catch up to you and be a part of your life. Blech. Thanks for always having my back, for the incredible kindness you show everyone in me, and for showing me unconditional love looks like, blah, blah, blah.
Not really.
What? That was it?
No, not. How is he showing unconditional love? They were together for less than a year.
Or just over a year, I thought. Only just over a year.
No.
I mean,
They started hooking up like last May.
so you see this. Then he goes on to thank people in the quarterback room, LaFleur, Nathaniel Hackett, Jordan Love, Kirk Benkirk. He thanks you guys for making every day fun. The Friday crew, which was Randall Cobb, Frankie Shebby, David Bakhtiari. Loved every moment we got to spend together with you. Cherish your friendships. To my teammates past and current, the icing on the beautiful cake we call our job football. The friendships that we have transcended our collective time. So thankful for a role, and this is hard to read. I love you guys.
bad.
Cherish the moment memories made. To everyone else, spread love and gratitude, you beautiful people, and read a book once in a while too. While you're at it, love and peace.
Dude, that was some of it. That wasn't even the whole thing.
that was just one of. I think that's the majority of it. It was 3
That
paragraphs.
was the end.
But then there was a bunch of pictures that went along with it. So let's break this down here a little bit because
Show the
obviously
pictures. He said he cried in one of the pictures he put up. He goes, "This picture meant so much to me." He goes, "I cried for 20 minutes."
I
What
didn't.
picture was that?
I-
It was. I'm glad you asked. There's a picture he shared of those 10 pictures on Instagram of Randall Cobb, blank space, Devonta Adams. Now, when he was out for COVID for like 1 or 2 games or whatever the hell it was this season, they saved a spot for him in the line of where he usually stands, and they didn't come together. They left the spot open for Rodgers, and he goes, "I saw this picture and I cried for about 20 minutes," which I can't picture that ever happening. I can't even picture him shedding a tear because that's not him.
So apparently he had come off of a 6-day cleanse.
What kind
Like-
of cleanse?
Was he in prison?
I don't know.
Solitary confinement?
All it was it was a spiritual and physical cleanse, and he did a lot of meditating and finding his inner zen or some shit. I have no idea.
Was this from
Okay.
Shailene Woodcock?
I have no idea. Don't know. I don't know. Obviously, he's going through the divorce, not
Woodley.
divorce, but he's breaking up with his fiance. And this guy, so this comes out, and you're like, dude, what the fuck does this mean? Like, Aaron Rodgers usually doesn't do anything that doesn't
Ever.
have a point. No, like he doesn't do anything that he doesn't waste steps. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
he's not just gonna throw something out there like this if there's not some rhyme or reason to it. Now,
For sure.
obviously, people started immediately going to, oh God, he's made his decision. He's leaving Green Bay. He's done with Green Bay. He's showing his gratitude to everybody, and he's trying to leave on a good note and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, cool, because that means if he's leaving Green Bay, there's, probably better than a 50-50 shot he lands up in Denver, which, awesome. We become Super Bowl contenders overnight. I cannot be upset about that. That being said, I don't know. I don't know what this was all about. There's a lot of stuff in there. Like,
It was weird.
I mean, you got to remember, too, Shailene Woodley is 10, 12 years younger than him?
I think it was she's 10 years old. I'm like,
I don't
Jesus.
even know who she is.
She was from that movie, they made of the books, not the Hunger Games, the other one, the Maze Games or some shit like that. Wasn't she?
I have no idea.
Or Divergent, is that what it was?
I mean, I can look her up.
It's like something like Divergent. She was also in that movie where she has cancer and her boyfriend has cancer, and then everyone dies, and it's
Dear John?
no, Dear John. It was that was
No,
also a book too.
that's-
That movie was super sad. I was like, this
What,
is some,
Dear John? Is
No,
she
no,
in that
no.
movie?
No,
Oh.
no.
I don't know. I have no
Something
idea.
about stars. Give me a second. Oh, Jesus
I have
Christ.
no
Stars
idea.
Among Us?
No, Fault in Our Stars.
Fault in Our Stars.
It's about young kids getting cancer and they get the
Never seen it.
dude. It's
Sucked.
oh my god, it's heartbreaking though because it's all about these teenagers getting cancer and they're all terminal and they're never gonna make it to their 20s. It's awful.
Jesus. Yeah, sounds like a movie I kind of want to miss.
Yeah,
yes,
it's sad.
Divergent.
Yeah,
The
I told
Last
you.
Letter from You, Big Little Lies.
Porcupine Company.
Oh, she's in Enzo Ferrari,
Mm,
which is in pre-production. That's still.
no.
It hasn't come out yet.
That's not even out.
Yeah, it's not out yet.
I thought you were gonna
I
say
might watch
Ford
that.
Ferrari.
No, I might watch that.
I'm trying to see if there's anything else. There's nothing else on here that like I really. I mean, CSI New York, I guess. My Name is Earl. But who knows? That was back in 2005. I think she's only like 21 or 2 or 3.
She would have been like 10 years old at that point.
Yeah, she played a young kid. So she's not. Yeah, she was born in 91. So she's what, 30, right?
Yeah.
So she's 30.
30,
Yeah,
31.
okay.
Jesus.
No, so she's a little bit younger than Aaron Rodgers. So,
5 years.
5 or 6?
No, 6, because he's 37.
Yeah, he's 30. Yeah, so 7. So anyway, the breaking down the whole thing though, we don't care who Shailene Woodley is. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's this was one of the most, and of course he goes on the Pat McAfee show today to explain, and Pat McAfee comes on and his regular spot on Sirius XM, and he says we got a major guest coming on today, and of course to no one's surprise it's Aaron Rodgers.
Shocker.
And Aaron basically said there was nothing cryptic about it. It just he basically just said I was in my feelings. And I just wanted to express that to some people. So it was kind of weird for Aaron Rodgers kind of dump out his purse on social media.
Which he never does.
Which he doesn't usually do. It's, if he is saying something, it's like I said, it's usually pointed. It's usually got, some sort of bigger meaning behind it where there's some you got some shit and you're like, oh, okay, like Aaron Rodgers is speaking maybe there's something else more to this. Let me take a look. This just seemed like it was just I broke up with my girlfriend and it was like Stan in South Park where he goes emo.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Like you raped my soul with your blackness. Like, you're like, wait, what? And he's like, you stepped on my heart with stiletto shoes.
But then, he's not that much in his feelings if he goes on Pat McAfee and Pat is just like, Aaron, with his deep voice, Aaron, what was that?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, and then that's where I get the thing where what he said, like, that picture made him cry for 20 minutes. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? This has to be, to me, this is him saying his first goodbye to Green Bay. This is him saying,
I feel like
it was fun.
Yeah, I think it sounds to me like he's warming up to saying goodbye.
And why would he pull the Tom Brady thing from last year? I feel like anybody that pulls that card now is like, that's their way out. They're like, I want the Tom Brady deal. I want the deal where I come into this year, I'm guaranteed not to be franchise tagged after the season. You can't transition tag me. You can't do any of that shit. I get freedom. And I feel like that's the way it's going to go. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he wants to test his freedom. Maybe he'll go back to Green Bay, unlike Brady. But it seems like he wants to leave and go try something else.
A lot of the sources that I've listened to from Green Bay and Denver all think he's leaving Green Bay.
Yes.
There is very, 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 very minimal people who think he's staying in Green Bay.
And
the only people that think he's staying in Green Bay are you got the Peter Burkowskis of the world or whatever.
Who the hell is Peter Burkowski?
He's a Packers guy on Twitter.
Okay.
That I follow, but he's been pretty fairly well tied in. The people that are Packers fans, they're jumping through the hoops right now saying like, no, he's not going anywhere. Well, why would he go to Denver? Denver's roster isn't better than Green Bay's. It's like, well, yeah, it kind of is. Like, no, it isn't. Name me one position where Denver's better. It's like
offense.
Okay, running back. And he's like, what wide receiver is better on Denver than Devonta Adams? It's like, okay, that one guy, but I'll take Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, and Tim Patrick.
I'll take Aaron Jones now over anybody.
Over the group of
all. I'm saying as a group, like I would take Aaron Rodgers. Not Aaron Rodgers. Jesus
Devonta
Christ.
Adams?
No, Aaron Jones over anybody on Denver's roster right now.
Aaron Jones, the running back?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you could take Aaron Jones, but Devonta Adams has shown.
But I'm saying like
probably going to be that dude.
He's younger. He needs an opportunity. It would be great to have a great quarterback with him. Mm-hmm. And Aaron Jones likely benefited from having.
Right,
Aaron
but what
Rodgers.
I'm saying is that you're basically what I'm getting at is that the people who are claiming that Aaron Rodgers isn't leaving Green Bay, they feel like they're clinging on to hope that he's not leaving Green Bay because they don't want him to leave Green Bay.
Right. I did this with Brady.
Right.
I was like, why would he leave and go to the Titans, the Titans? I was like, ain't gonna happen. And he goes to Tampa. I'm like, bitch. not just mad.
Wait, so do you not think that Aaron Rodgers is going?
Oh
anywhere?
no, I'm positive he's going.
So you think?
But
he's
I was
leaving Green
blind
Bay.
and biased
Okay.
with the
I
Brady
just didn't know
thing.
where you sat. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm 100%. I've been saying it since last year, even before like you came back and everything like that. I've been saying
He's gone.
I said last offseason, I said this is his final year in Green Bay. I said I don't care what happens, like this is his final year. And I said this seems destined for Denver. And I've been saying it for over a year.
Yeah.
Because it just seemed
I
like
thought he was done before that. I didn't think he was going to play this last
Well,
year.
apparently the rumor has it that this deal almost got done last offseason.
Right. That's why
Which is why everybody's tying him to Denver this offseason, because if it almost happened last offseason and nothing's really changed, especially for Denver.
but they might. You want my keys?
I'm like, I'm like, what do you use? Don't break that.
Don't break my shark.
Oh, cool. Okay. I was just checking. I didn't have one. That's all.
No, it's
And I'm
good.
like, just wait. I'm like, why don't you go to open a bottle? I'm like, what? Is that one of my lighters?
No, it's one of mine.
Oh, okay.
Mine.
Oh, do what the hell you want with
I'm just gonna fiddle with it.
But no,
anyway,
I'm
sorry.
100% certain that,
Anyway.
that Aaron Rodgers is gonzo.
Yeah.
And so is Devonta Adams. That whole team's just going to be like, listen, I'm out.
Didn't one of the Smith brothers come out and like basically Zadarius Smith like take all his shit down from Green Bay off his social media?
Dude, I'm so sick of that.
Is
That's
that
like
the
new
like
phase.
It's
I'm
like a-
breaking up with you?
Yeah,
like
it's like-
bullshit. Like, come on.
It's like
man.
I don't know if people are doing it because they're just trolling people or if they're doing it because they're like, meh, I'm leaving.
No, these guys need to grow up. This is like the new social media trend for athletes, and it's like grow up.
You know what I think it is they take down all their Green Bay shit, like all their stuff that the team they're playing for, so that they can get the reactions on social media, like, no, please don't leave, no, oh my God, we love you, no, please, like, and they're just like, all right, and they put it all back up, and then 6 months later when they're like, oh man, my girlfriend broke up with me again, I'm feeling down in the dumps. You know what I could use? Take down all my Green Bay stuff again.
social media dump.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, no, please don't tell me you're leaving.
Ah, please, no.
Please. Sure.
So like, I can't stand like, and Kyler Murray. I think he's the first person that's ever offended me by doing it. I was like, wow. But then he was even his team. Some anonymous teammates were just like, he needs to grow up, and
Yeah.
they're like,
I don't know if Kyler Murray's ready for the NFL.
dude, he's not mentally. Colt McCoy, they caught him on thing. He was like, dude, he's like, it's the beginning of the game. He threw an interception. It ain't gonna matter. It's 0-0, and they're on 4th down already. Like, just get it out of your head. And he's like, yo, I can't do this. I don't know why he's like Mike Tyson Jr. I can't do this.
'Cause
I
he's
can't.
tiny.
I can't make these mental mistakes. And Colt was like, Colt was really giving him that look of like, who cares? Like Colt's like, look at me.
Shut the fuck up.
He's like,
If
I
I
mean,
was
look-
coach, I'd be like, yeah, let it get in your head, bro. Because I'd be like, yo, coach, I put my helmet on. I'm like,
No.
I'm going in, motherfucker.
Colt
Colts-
McCoy doesn't want to play anymore. He's completely
Bullseye.
He's
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
fine getting paid to hold
Colt
the clipboard.
McCoy is the new McCown. He's like, I'm gonna try to get on 15 teams and play for 17 seasons.
Yep. Have a 20-year career as a backup.
He's like, I'll
and
make
just
$3
cash
million.
checks.
I'll make $3 million a year as a backup everywhere I go over the
Fuck
next
yeah,
15 years.
dude.
Testaverde
Damn.
did that. Flutie did that. There are so many guys that did that, just hung around forever.
Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick is still
Could you
doing that.
imagine that? That'd be the greatest job ever. I don't care. Show up to work.
Why do you think
do
Fitzpatrick
nothing.
says he keeps playing? He goes every year. He goes, I'm on a new team. He goes, eventually I'll play for all the teams.
Dude, what do you
pretty
think? Why do you think guys like Matt Castle and Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett and Curtis Painter and guys like that had like the sickest jobs?
Dude, Painter is like gone from the NFL. He had like 4 seasons or something.
Right, but he was Peyton Manning's backup. There was never a chance he was ever going to see a game unless it was to go out and take a knee.
There was only one person who was ever upset being the backup to Peyton Manning.
Dan Orlovsky.
Joey knows him because Joey loved him at one point.
Oh. Joey, backup to.
Come on, tip of your tongue.
Brock Osweiler?
Brock
Yeah.
Osweiler.
Brock Lobster?
Really?
Who smashed his helmet when he saw Peyton Manning going back into a game in the 4th quarter? The year Manning had like
Yeah.
2015 when they were down
Yeah.
down to the Chargers and they needed the spark and all of a sudden you just heard the roar from the crowd and you're like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden here comes Peyton like trotting out on the field and you're like,
He's
Like,
coming back out.
And then the Texans paid Brock Osweiler like $70 million. And fucking screwed
They,
him.
they guaranteed him like $42 million those first 2 years and they had to pay it to
Well,
him.
it's Texas.
They
And
screwed him.
they cut him like midway through the second year. They're like, yeah, this ain't working. And we're
Essentially,
like, yeah, we
though,
know.
he helped them get Deshaun Watson. I mean, they don't have Deshaun Watson anymore, pretty much, but
So we'll get into the Deshaun Watson thing too because that's going to be on our little quarterback carousel as we take a dipsy-do
Good, because
around.
I got a question about Deshaun Watson.
Okay, so but the Aaron Rodgers thing is fascinating because, again, this guy he doesn't usually do stuff like this. He's not known for this. He's
Never.
not this kind of guy. So I agree with Sean in a sense where I think this is him kind of warming up to saying goodbye. I think this is him like kind of, like getting, and he did say on the Pat McAfee show today he's made no decisions. Like he said, I just got my head like above the sand, or I guess
I saw that, yeah.
which I don't know if he meant head out of the sand or above water or
No,
just
he was buried in the sand, Joey.
Buried in the sand, so he's above the
he was
sand.
in the quicksand.
He was also blinded
He was
by
like
the light.
Indiana Jones. He was in the quicksand and blinded by the light.
Quicksand.
Quicksand.
I like that.
And there was snakes.
And there was a snake pit. And there was alligators. They were going chomp chomp.
Well, he's going to be one of those dudes that's just going to take his sweet ass time, but he's going to troll everybody.
But
does
here's the
something
thing, and this is kind of thank you for saying that because it kind of brings me to my next point. He really can't take his sweet ass time.
No, we cannot.
We've basically got another 6-7 days.
else. What's that? The 8?
Before the March 1st, which is pretty much when, because and the reason
8th, I think.
no
Is it
well,
8th or the 18th? March 18th.
free agency.
Wait, there's a franchise starting period, then a franchise deadline.
No. The franchise tag deadline opened today.
It was today?
It opens today.
Yeah, but nobody talks in February. They all talk in March.
Things are very different now because you got to remember. You got to remember
It's
we
different, Sean.
don't have that extra week. The off season shortened by a week now
Oh.
because of that extra. They didn't push the off season off.
They
They
can't.
didn't push free agency back, the combine back, anything like
True.
that.
It's also the same
So
thing.
what used to take place in 6 weeks or 7 weeks is now 6 or 5, which doesn't sound like a lot to us, but in the NFL things move very, very quickly.
Yeah, it's
But now that you have all the coaching's the situation settled for the most part, and we know who's going to be coaching where, it kind of puts an accelerator on what Aaron Rodgers is going to have to do because he's going to have to know. Because the Packers need to know if he's coming back or not, because they need to know if they need to franchise Devonta or not. They need to know what they're going to do with Devonta Adams. So if Aaron Rodgers takes his sweet-ass time and doesn't do anything, he could, in the long term, end up screwing himself over by not giving the Packers enough time to figure out what to do with their roster in order to, make it to his liking, if you will. Not saying like he's going out and shopping for the groceries, but if he wants Devonta Adams, he's going to have to make a decision here fairly quickly.
But if he wants Devonta Adams also is going to have to understand that he's going to take less money to stay with Green Bay and to stay with Aaron Rodgers. Now, does Aaron Rodgers want to be responsible for putting the blame, so to speak, on Devonta Adams? Like, oh, I'll stay if you stay, but you're going to have to take less money. And then Adams is going to be like, no, that's not fair to me. Like, I'm just as much of a playmaker as you are. I should be able to go out and get as much money as I want. And then, essentially, if Devonta Adams leaves, Green Bay and its fans can blame him as like, oh, he's greedy. He didn't want to stay. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It's like, there's a little bit of like.
Which is what I think Green Bay is setting up to do right now with all of this. If you look at the information, the tweets, the reactions, the stuff, the leaks coming out of Green Bay, sources say the Packers are all in on keeping Rodgers, and that they're, the Packers brass, is willing to spend, $50 million a year to keep Aaron Rodgers. Bro, you're $40 million, $30 million in the hole as it is. You're over the cap already.
Right.
Like, okay, you're going to spend that kind of money on Aaron Rodgers. Don't get me wrong. It's the NFL. You can always create cap space. That's almost never an issue. Excuse me. If you want somebody, if you want somebody bad enough, you will find a way to make your cap work to get that guy.
Yes.
There is always a way to do it. Now, you might be, handicapped right off the rip, and it might be a lot harder for a team like Green Bay than, say, it would be for somebody like Denver, who already has the cap space, where they don't have to go to, say, a Justin Simmons and say, hey, look, we want to keep you, but we also want Aaron Rodgers. Would you mind restructuring your deal to more of a team-friendly thing? And then you got to go do that to 3 or 4 other guys in order to free up some space. You might have to work a couple trades. You might have to cut a few guys, dump some guys, whatever, salary dump stuff in order to make it work. But you can make it work. That being said, if Green Bay is going to keep Aaron Rodgers, they need to know much sooner than anybody else. Literally, they have to be the first to know, if nothing else, because their whole offseason plan hinges on what he's doing. And that includes whether or not they franchise Devonta Adams, their best wide receiver, or they let him hit free agency. So, and in order to do right, and then if you don't do that, if you don't do right by Devonta Adams, now you're just, if you're the Packers, now you're just adding to, kind of throwing fuel on the fire that already is burning or smoldering with the rumors of why Aaron Rodgers is leaving in the first place, right? You treat the players like shit. You kick guys out the door. You don't give a shit about the play. You're not a player-friendly franchise. And if they do that and they botch this whole thing, well, yeah, now you're going into a season with Jordan Love as your starter, and on top of that, now nobody really wants to play with you, and you have no cap space, and now you got to overpay for guys to be like. It puts you as Green Bay. It puts you in a really shit spot as a franchise. So this whole thing pretty much needs to accelerate within the next, I'd say, 6 to 8 days, tops. We will know what Aaron Rodgers is doing. Hopefully by the time we come back on the show next Tuesday, we will know what Aaron Rodgers is doing.
I still think he has a little bit more time than that, to be honest with you. That's not like a hard date.
Well, he does have more time.
Yeah.
But
I think he'll take his sweet time.
I think his mind is already made up, to be quite honest. I'm not sure what he's waiting for, if he's just waiting for the right time to break up with the Packers or not, but I honestly think his mind is already made up. I think he's gone. I think he's going to allow the Packers to shop him to a couple of different teams, and he's ultimately going to have the final say as to where he goes. Mm-hmm. But if you're Aaron Rodgers and you're saying, okay, I'm leaving Green Bay and I'm going to go play elsewhere, or I'm retiring.
The old Barry Sanders.
And the Packers say, okay, well, we're going to trade you to
Detroit.
Let's just say the Jets. And he says, nope, I'm retiring. And they go, well, the Jets are going to give us 4 first-rounders. He goes, that's fantastic, but I'm not waiving my no-trade clause to go there. And then you've got Denver over there saying, yeah, we'll give you a first this year, a first next year, a second this year, and a third next year.
That's a lot, man.
It is, but not for a franchise quarterback for the next 4 years. When you think about it.
If you can win, then yeah.
Well, that's the idea.
That's the goal.
I mean, if you get Aaron Rodgers, you're probably going to win.
Well, that opens up that championship window for you very easily. Absolutely. So that's what was my original goal. Was I think Aaron Rodgers is setting himself up nicely. Now I'm trying to think of other teams that would want him. That would be very good
Tennessee,
talent around
Indianapolis.
him. Tennessee's already out. Tennessee has no money. They cannot. Indy has a shit ton of money.
Indy's got a shit ton of money. Indy doesn't have a lot of draft capital, but
here's the problem with Indy. Frank Wright, no offense, not the owner. Frank Wright and the GM, Ballard, is it still Ballard?
GM, Chris Ballard, yeah.
Okay. They do not believe in crazy spending on a free agent. Like they almost think about it like from a economical point of view, where it's like a depreciating asset. Where do they really want to risk all this capital in Rodgers? I just don't see them doing it.
I hope not. Honestly, I don't want them. Not for what we're gonna have to give up.
Oh
for
my
him.
God! I have.
Well,
if someone says
the rumor, what I would expect, and this isn't a rumor, I'm projecting here, but I would assume that a trade package from Indianapolis to Green Bay would start, at the very least, with JTT.
Nah, you don't go running back. Never.
I mean, if the Packers, who else are they going to give up?
Leonard.
There's no way in hell you're giving up Darius
That's
Leonard.
what I'm asking for. I don't care about running backs. Running backs are a dime a dozen.
Right, but you're getting at least at that point, at least you're getting an impact offensive player. Okay, because now you got to keep in mind, and we said this 3 years ago when we did the draft special. The Packers must believe in Jordan Love, otherwise, why would you take him in the first round?
They do not.
So you either admit that you don't believe in Jordan Love, and you subsequently jettisoned your Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers 4 to 5 years before he was really ready to hang it up, and you set the franchise back a decade, or you try to save face, you trade him to Indianapolis, you get Jonathan Taylor, and you say, look, we got Jordan Love now, a nice shiny bell cow running back, and we're going to put guys around him, and we're going to make this offense, it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers good, but we're going to make it pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. And we're going to build a defense, and we're going to have a good team around this kid that we believe in because we took him in the first round. That's the only other way. That's the way you can kind of save face if you're the Packers. Now, what else is included in that deal? Is it a DeForest Buckner? Is it a Darius Leonard? I mean, I'm looking at you, Colts fan. What are you thinking? What are you comfortable giving up? Because obviously you don't have the first round pick this year. You gave it up for Carson.
He's gonna say,
I don't really want to give up. I don't really want to give up anything because I don't really want Aaron Rodgers in the first place, giving up anybody.
Why don't you want Aaron Rodgers?
I don't think that with
you could get Aaron Rodgers for Jonathan Taylor straight up right now. You wouldn't do it?
No.
You're out of your mind.
If
No.
I could trade Mac Jones plus a first-round pick plus other picks for Aaron Rodgers for 4 years guaranteed, I'm doing it without blinking.
Maybe on your teams, but you got to realize what the Colts are short of. We're not short Aaron Rodgers' fucking greatness. We're just short a little bit better than fucking Carson Wentz. We don't have to give up all this shit.
Dude, so are a lot of teams.
Yeah, all right. So, I mean, give us fucking Watson. Give us somebody, Russell Wilson. Give
Wait
us
a minute.
Russell,
Okay,
give
all right,
us
but you're
Russell
talking
Wilson.
about-
How are you
talking
going to
about-
get Watson if you can't afford Rodgers?
You think that they're going to want more for Watson than
Hell
Rodgers?
yeah, he's 24.
Watson's younger. His career
Watson
trajectory
also,
was MVP caliber.
Well,
every year.
actually, this whole thing that we're talking about right now was back to my question before about Deshaun Watson that I said that I had, and I don't really want to say it right now because I don't really think it matters that much, but why is Deshaun Watson still so fucking desirable after all this allegations and shit? Like,
because they're allegations. Because nothing has come forward yet,
He's
and
technically still innocent.
and
Right.
he's still innocent. And you know why? And you know why he's still because he's that fucking good. I hate to
but he
break, like,
comes out fucking guilty on something, he gets fucked, right? See the
Do you-
book's thrown at him. Like, what now?
okay.
Michael
but-
Vick slaughtered. Michael Vick was on video, slicing
get
dogs'
that,
throats.
I get that, and
he
he
came back.
Yeah, and
No.
he came back.
Ray
but,
Lewis
like,
allegedly killed a guy.
sort of
Witnessed.
Well, no,
Witnessed.
No.
Witnessed a guy get
Oh,
killed.
shit. I didn't see nothing. Jumps in the limo and drives away.
Yo, I don't know nothing about that Simba shit.
Dude.
All I know is we got to focus on the Pittsburgh game.
Do you remember
I
that?
want Russ Wilson. I'm just gonna say it right now. I want Russ Wilson.
Listen, I think Russ Wilson's the best fit for Indianapolis.
Do you want
that there
Sierra?
is.
I want. Huh?
Do you want Sierra? Too?
Paul will be out there like Fat Man Scoop, like Sierra in the house.
I don't give a
Sierra in the
yeah,
house. Like
whatever.
Paul will be out in front of the RCA Dome like in a thong.
Paul breaks.
I just don't know what we're gonna have to give up for anybody, and now I'm like kind of pissed because
You would.
it sucks.
You would also have to, with all of your might, defend Sierra and Russell Wilson and hate Future. And everything Future does.
Actually, I love Future.
Nope.
I know. I
Can't
know.
do it.
As
Can't
soon
do
as
it.
you get Russell Wilson, you
No,
have to.
I know.
You have
I
to
know,
break
I have
all
to
of your
defend,
Future
I know,
shit.
I know.
You've got hip hop beef now.
Yeah, I know.
You got rap beef, so
No.
you can't do it.
Yeah, I
no,
know.
but
You're
like,
Pete Wentz now, and
let's-
he's Yee.
Oh Jesus.
let's use this to transition to the
Pete Wentz.
the,
Oops,
the
I meant
quarterback.
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson.
Same
Isn't
shit.
Pete Wentz the guy from like Fallout Boy or some shit?
I was gonna say, wait, why does that name sound familiar? I
Yeah,
know.
because he's the guy. He's like the emo kid from Fall Out Boy.
Oh, okay.
Pete Wentz, a guitarist, I think.
Pete
Yeah,
Wentz.
yeah.
What did we used to make fun of? Who did we used to make fun of that we said looked like Pete Wentz?
We didn't-
Wasn't there something?
Oh,
in
John.
Oh yeah, we
We
used to
didn't
call.
make fun of him.
No,
I
we just
thought
called
he
him-
looked
No,
like
he looked like
yeah,
Pete Wentz.
we
Yeah.
just called him
Something
Pete
else.
Wentz. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, wait, why does that name sound so familiar? That was something recent in my life.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I
he had the
remember.
hairstyle.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Never mind. Yeah. Oh, forgot all about that. Love
Yeah.
John. Anyway, let's take a dip on this quarterback carousel before we dive into the Brady rumors because I do want to get into those. Because this Sean's gonna lose his fucking mind.
If he plays for another team, I'm gonna be rip shit.
I hope he does in so many ways, and then in like 2 ways I hope he doesn't. But the Watson thing is interesting, Paul, because you said, why is Watson still so desirable? Why is Watson still like this? Because he hasn't been proven guilty, and I don't know that anything has been brought forward that has been disclosed within these court hearings that really. Really, what's the word I'm fucking looking for here? Oh my God, makes him look guilty.
Right.
Bad evidence.
No, just that proves beyond a reasonable doubt that's damning for him.
Well, apparently a couple of the girls have like video evidence.
Okay, so if they have video evidence and
And he
this
did.
goes to court and it doesn't get released,
Especially some of those stories. That's
does
bad.
it care? Okay, let's say hypothetically, let's say you trade for Deshaun Watson this year. You give up next year's first, this year's second, because you don't have. I'm saying from a Colt standpoint, this year's second, next year's first, and 2024's first.
No.
And he's going to miss 6 to 10 games.
Whatever. Go ahead.
Ooh,
Sorry.
I mean, obviously you have a chance to sign.
It's a lot of noises.
I'm not
Ooh,
the
sounds
guy.
like Tony
I'm
Romo.
Honestly, dude, I'm not the guy to sit here and argue about like as far
No,
as
I'm saying,
contracts
do you
and
want him?
things like
Do you want him?
for draft picks. I mean, fuck it, might as well. We're so close.
Yes. Let me give you. Let me give
3
you.
draft picks.
Let me
and
give you
fucking
the
see you later.
let me give you the cheat sheet to this question. The answer is abso-fucking-lutely.
That's what I'm
I don't
saying.
care if Deshaun Watson is suspended for a full season. if I trade for Deshaun Watson, if the Broncos are to trade for Deshaun Watson right now, and they got to give up 2 firsts, a second, and a third over the next 2 years, I am 100% doing that trade because I will take 10 years of Deshaun Watson after that for those 4 picks.
Right.
Because that is something
that's my question. Is like
that is something I will suffer through. I will suffer. I will say, okay, look, maybe Drew Lock goes out there with Nathaniel Hackett, who had some pretty nice things to say about Drew Lock today in the Denver media. I'm just saying that, throwing that out there. Maybe Drew Lock's career is not quite dead yet.
Oh, it's
My
dead.
boy Horsecock Lock still got some juice in him.
It's dead.
But what I'm saying is worst case scenario, you got to roll a Drew Lock this year because you're waiting while Deshaun Watson comes back from suspension. I am completely fine with that.
No.
Completely fine with that because now I know at the start of the 2023 season, we have a franchise quarterback going forward.
Mm-hmm.
We have all this talent. Yes, it's all a year older. It's all a year down the road.
Anything can happen. I get
Anything can happen, blah, blah, blah. But let's just say for the argument's sake that this roster looks just like it does, just it's 1 year older.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's still healthy. It's still there. And you're going to wait 1 year? Yeah, I'm still trading 2 firsts for Deshaun Watson.
Hey, I'm gonna put a kibosh on this right now. The only thing you have to worry about, I don't really think the Colts care as much, but like the Denver is still looked at by other owners as like a prestigious team. So I can't picture them saying yes to the PR hit they may incur by taking on Deshaun Watson. Like they would like the PR hit. The owner does the owner goes to strip clubs and has cocaine in his pocket, man. I don't think that's what I'm saying. I don't think PR is like top of his list of things to care about.
If there's one thing that we've learned about the NFL, no one cares.
Some owners do.
No one cares though. That's the thing. Like the PR hit that the Broncos would take, no one gives a shit. The NFL is they're going to program the Goodell bot to go out there and run damage control, just like they did with this Brian Flores thing, which, oh, look at that. Look who got a job, and look at where he got the job. Wow, what a shock.
And let me just say this, Miami fans, racist pieces of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody fucking cares. Like, no one's going to give a shit. The PR,
I can't wait for someone to be like, I'm a
the NFL was begging for the PR hit that there were teams ignoring the Rooney Rule and circumventing it and not taking it seriously to avoid the potential PR hit of one of their owners bribing a coach to throw games.
Yo, throw games so we can get this kid.
Throw games so we can get this kid Joe Burrow out of LSU. No, I'm not going to do that. Well, fuck you, I'll give you $100,000. Like, no. I'm not going to do that. By the way, you're all racist. It's like, of those two things, I'll be a racist. Yes, thank you. Because the NFL would have a serious problem on its hands trying to bounce back from the PR nightmare that will be you are potentially rigging games. Not the NFL as a body, but within the NFL that there is the point shaving or rigging games going on. That is a much more damning story than say, oh, I don't know, this affirmative action Rooney Rule that we implemented 13, 14 years ago that we knew everybody was just going to pander and circumvent anyway, but we put it in there to appease people because that's what the NFL does. They pander. They don't actually do anything to make things easier or more equal. They just say that they do and then say, oh, pat us on the back. Tell us how good we are. Thank you.
No.
And then you do, and then something like this happens and you're like, outrage.
So someone online brought up a dark horse team that could be a huge factor for Deshaun Watson, and I absolutely love the idea because this franchise has nothing to lose. They can give up basically all of their assets because if it doesn't work out, who cares? No one's watching them anyway right now.
Detroit.
No.
The Jets.
Close. Minnesota Vikings. Like, whatever. They're like, fuck it. You want 9 first-round picks? Pfft, whatever. Like, we're up here in the freezing cold. Like, we're in a dome, and honest to God, if they just say, what do you want? 3 firsts, here's 3 firsts and 3 seconds. If they gave up the Bo Jackson type of deal and said, here's all of our shit, and it doesn't work out, who cares?
And refresh my memory, but I don't know if it was a fake article and then I went and checked it, or if it was at that point of the night where I was falling asleep, so I don't quite remember.
So you kind of make up the story yourself?
Did the Vikings and Kirk Cousins kind of agree to go separate ways, or was that all my imagination?
So I think there's a out in which the team would have to eat one final big chunk, but they can do it after a post-June first cut.
But Kirk Cousins and the Vikings are they're amicably splitting up, right?
And a new coach is going to want to come in and do his own thing.
That was a real thing, right?
That's
I'm
a
not
real
making
thing.
that up.
That is 100% real. And Kirk Cousins knows he's probably going to be a backup somewhere next year. Or maybe he'll go. Maybe your boy Frank Reich would be like, I can fix Cousins.
Oh, it was the
Paul's like, God damn it!
No.
It was the Panthers. That's what it was.
No, the Panthers have like 15 quarterbacks.
Right,
That doesn't count.
but the Panthers, the rumor was that's what it was. The rumor was that the Panthers had called the Vikings about potentially trading for the for Kirk Cousins, but Kevin O'Connell came out and said that no, he wants to build around Kirk Cousins. So conflicting
That's bullshit.
Conflicting reports there, a little bit conflicting. But again, you don't know who's full of shit and who's not.
There's no way Kevin
we
O'Connell
literally
wants
watched
Kirk
Josh
Cousins.
McDaniels come into Denver 12 years ago and say, I'm not getting rid of anybody. This offense is great. Oh, by the way, Brandon Marshall and Jay Cutler, two biggest parts of this offense. Bye.
Adios.
The only guy who's staying for this offense is Dan Graham. Hope you guys like Kyle Orton, bitch. You're like, what the fuck?
Daniel Graham was
Like, I mean, I know Jay
underrated.
Cutler isn't exactly like, first ballot Hall of Fame material. At that point, he was, had more, we hadn't seen all of it yet, but goddamn, like Kyle Orton? Like, the man was a career backer. Like, he was backing up Rex Grossman, for fuck's sake. Like, come on.
Which is why I think that if they do get rid of Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo would probably go right to Oakland or Las Vegas.
So that's the other thing about this is that there's the rumor of, which brings us to the Brady thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Brady is now rumored, the beef between Brady and Bruce Arians kind of bubbled up sometime late last week.
Because he's fat.
And there was a rumor out there that the reason Brady retired was not because he wanted to or didn't think he could play anymore. It was because of philosophical disagreements with
Fatty.
Bruce Arians, who Sean is obviously a huge fan of. I believe you wrote a fantastic article about him. Calling him the WOAT, the worst of all time.
The WOAT.
Dude, think about it. If I'm going on a quick rant, this man was given more top first-round quarterbacks, first pick, first round of all time. He had Carson Palmer. He had Peyton Manning. He's had, oh my God, I'm going fucking brain dead. He's had Big Ben, even though he wasn't a first overall pick. He's had a plethora of Jameis Winston, obviously another one. A plethora of these men, and he has underperformed with these like all-time quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He's been the luckiest son of a bitch to ever coach in my life. Like, imagine just being handed top round talent after top round talent after top round talent for your whole career, and he's just being like, yeah, that's what I do. It's like, fuck you, dude. Like, wear your kangaroo hat on the sideline and break your ankle standing up.
Kangol hats.
Whatever, piece of shit.
Kangaroo hats. Wear your marsupial lid.
Dude, he's just
I just
awful.
wanted to say
He's an
marsupial.
awful coach. He does absolutely nothing. He relies on everybody else. He is like an older version of Josh McDaniels. That's the problem I have with Josh McDaniels, too. Just sucks up on everybody else's success, and he's like, oh, I was there. It's like, yeah, you didn't fucking do it. I don't know. It just
It's true.
bothers
I mean,
me.
yeah, Bruce Arians, you could make but he did do a great job in Indy when Pagano was out with the whole cancer thing, and
thought so.
he kept that ship upright and did really good things. But I think you're right. When it's his team, it's his show. It's when it's his monkeys, his circus kind of deal. Like it's gonna be. He's not that great at coordinating a full team. Now, granted, he took over a pretty stacked team in Tampa.
And a stacked team in Arizona.
Arizona was pretty stacked as well. And then they just inserted Tom Brady, and it was like, okay, can you not throw 30 interceptions? Brady's like,
Yep.
yeah, I can do that. I mean, I'm going to give you like 1/10 of that in the championship game, and you'll have to overcome that, but I think you're okay with that. And they were like, yeah, that's fine, because Aaron Rodgers is going to do the same anyway, whatever.
That's par for par.
Yep, so it was just tit for tat. But no, the Brady rumors are wildly amusing because he's now people are starting to wonder, okay, is Brady trying to angle his way out of Tampa Bay? And if so, where would he go? Now, the Bucs have come out and said, before anybody gets too excited, the Bucs have come out and said, if Brady decides to not retire and play in 2022, that they fully expect him to be the Buccaneers quarterback come opening day. So they still own his rights for a year. So he would have, if he were to unretire, there would have to be a trade or some sort of, the Bucs would have to just outright release him, which I can't foresee that happening. I don't know why they would do that. Right. There's nothing, they would gain nothing by letting him go. Mm-hmm. If they're like, oh, wait, you want to retire? Now you want to go play for another team and we're just supposed to release you? Like, yeah, we know you're Tom Brady, but fuck you. Like, play for us. And nothing happens to them because there's nothing that they're going to lose. Like, they're not going to gain anything. They're not going to lose anything. Yeah, I don't know. It would be a very interesting scenario. But let's just say, hypothetically, that Brady does convince the Bucs to trade him. There's two landing spots that stick out really, really, really in a loud kind of way. Number one would obviously be San Francisco. He's been tied to San Fran for a while now, which is him and Rodgers, both big San Fran fans, big Joe Montana fans. I think Brady would love nothing more than to go to the Bay and bring them a ring. I think that would be his.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you.
I think that would be his, like, okay, now I can retire.
After he has 8 rings and he gives San Francisco one more to have than the Patriots.
8 rings and he can join Joe Montana in the, Niners Ring of Fame or something like that. Like, okay. The second one, and this is going to piss off every single Patriots fan in the history of the world, is none other than the Miami Dolphins.
Nah, I don't see that one anymore.
Now, the new coach, we don't know a ton about the new coach. Young kid. Could be the next fucking Sean McVay.
Oh, careful.
Could be the next Josh McDaniels. We don't know. We are going to find out. However, there is Paul and I were made aware of this highly exclusive neighborhood in Miami that has, what was it, 72 residents? Oh, no, it was 36 residents.
Yeah, it's small.
36 houses. A full golf course, full amenities. It's a fully gated community that has its own police force, a private police force with 2 officers per home. So each home basically has, that's the ratio. There's 36 houses, and I think it was 80 officers or something like that they had working at this private. It is the most exclusive piece of property in Florida. Like, you don't just get to, you can't just go anybody can afford to live there that has that kind of money. It's all about being kind of like a boys club. Like, you've got to be accepted into this neighborhood. We got to drive by it on a boat.
Yeah, it's not a place that you'd expect. It's not like your typical
It was right, but it's just highly exclusive. And Giselle and Brady built a house in there. I think it was like a $17 million home. I'm fairly certain it might have been even the one that they filmed the
No, that was Jeter's house.
The Tuck Rule.
The Tuck Rule?
With Charles Woodson and Brady?
No, that was the Jeter house.
Was it the Jeter house?
Yeah.
I thought that was okay. So, yeah, because that would make sense.
They filmed that months ago. That's why.
I was going to say, because that would have been really quick. Like, that house would have been just done.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
If it had been done. But anyway, so I know that they built a house in that neighborhood, which is wild because that place is seriously fucking insane. So but even more insane than that, getting into that neighborhood is, could you imagine Tom Brady suiting up in a Dolphins uniform on opening day this year?
No.
I think it's Indian Creek.
I think his only time.
I forget. The guy told us on the phone.
I think it's Indian Creek.
It would have been 2 years ago. It would have been that time 2 years ago. It was either then or never. Like, I think now, no. I think he's done with Florida. I think it's only San Francisco. I think it's San Francisco or bust. If that's the case.
Well, the only reason I say Florida is because if you build in that neighborhood, that's your permanent residence. Okay, so Brady's they're going to live in Miami now.
For quite a while, yes.
So it would make sense if he still wanted to play to not have to fly all the way across the country and be away from his family, which are at their permanent residence. Joey Fats Radio, row 121.
Hey, what's up, boys?
What's going on,
Pat,
Pat?
what's happening?
Joey, not to steal your fuel, but just to make a quick comment, do you think there's any chance? I heard some stupid rumor that if Stephen Ross gets kicked out, maybe TB12 becomes a minority owner and plays for the Dolphins?
No.
Can that even happen?
Yeah, it could.
I mean, if he's not playing, then yes. There's something about you can't be a player and an owner at the same time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm sure there's a way that they could finagle that.
I mean, if you're that rich, then I guess they could.
I think what you're getting at is that they can't pay you
Like Jordan?
they can't pay your salary. Like, they can't pay you like $1 million a year and then give you like 2% ownership in the franchise or 5% ownership in order to circumvent the cap. I don't think there's any rule against you being an owner and a player, but there is a rule that exists that would prevent you from being able to, because that would just be, because then Jerry Jones would be like, hey man, listen,
wide receiver.
I'm gonna pay you $5 million a year. I know that's well on the league average, but I'll give you 2% of the Dallas fucking Cowboys, huh?
I'll
How's
give
that
you
sound?
200,000 shares of the Cowboys.
Yeah, like
I
so.
have shares.
So. I mean, it could possibly happen. But I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen.
So that's so. I mean, it could possibly happen. I mean, it could possibly happen. But I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, it could possibly happen. But I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, it could possibly happen. which would make sense because if he's going to live and be a permanent resident in Miami,
Yeah.
and you're going to do TB12 and you're going to do stuff down there, makes sense to become part owner of the Dolphins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, they already got, 10 owners anyway? Like, who cares? What's one more?
Do you, Joey? What was your initial reaction today when you saw the Aaron Rodgers post? Feel better, worse? What do you think?
Oh, I feel a lot better about him coming to Denver.
Okay, yeah, that's what I meant.
I don't know if I feel better about where Aaron Rodgers is at mentally.
Okay.
It was a little unnerving because it's like, okay, either this guy's like, he's a bottle and a half of tequila deep, and he's just he's out there just like spilling his guts, or maybe he saw the light and found Buddha or something. I don't know, like Buddha.
I think you added an ER by accident. You found
Buddha.
Buddha or something.
I don't know. Maybe Buddha is who he found.
Buddha.
Maybe he just invented a new god.
Yeah, it's him.
Because Aaron Rodgers is like, I'm so awesome, I can't worship all the traditional gods.
He should
I
call
need to
Brett
discover
Favre
a
and
new
see
one.
what he's up to.
I heard he was on some insane weight loss thing, like makes you, I don't know, not to be gross, it makes you like throw up, or he's coming off some insane workout cleanse. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I read that too. I wasn't sure. I thought that was like a meme or a troll job, so I didn't mention it. But yeah, I
Dude,
saw the same thing.
He lost a shit ton of weight this past offseason. Why does he want to lose more weight? That makes no sense to me.
Because he wants to be mobile. Because he knows when he gets to Denver, those extra pounds are going to hinder him with the high altitude.
And when he's playing all those high altitude clouds, he's going to be fast on his feet.
Yes, he'll be much quicker.
And when he kicks the football, it's going to go through the clouds.
And Fats, I gotta ask, I won't lie to you guys. I've jumping on the NBA train only because the Celtics got good again. Fats, quickly, then I'll go back to football. What's going on with LeBron and the Lakers?
LeBron's done with the Lakers.
Okay.
I mean, and honestly, at this point, not a moment too soon. Like, I'm cool. You came to LA. You did what I needed you to do, which was win me a bunch of bets with a bunch of idiot Celtics fans. And
But big asshole.
And that was it. But no, he's basically, by saying what he said the other day about being like, maybe I'll play. I'm not opposed to coming back to
Go
Cleveland.
where his son's
I'm
going.
going to go play with Bronny. Assuming Bronny makes it to the NBA, which is also pretty big assumption.
He would be like, he'd go to a team and he'd be like, "You're going to draft my son, or I'm going to kill I don't even know what I'm saying, but I'm going to kill everybody in this room."
But at the end of the day, I think that it pretty much cemented the fact that he's all set with the Lakers.
He's all set. It just seems like he's set with basketball right now. He's all set with
He's
everything.
just collecting game checks.
Yeah, I mean,
He passed Wilt. I think that was his big thing. He wanted to pass Wilt.
He's going to play until he owns every single record. And he's going to go and he's going to hop teams and everything else. And one thing I did want to say about Tom Brady, too, is I hope if Tom Brady does go to San Fran, that all these fucking Boston fans that gave LeBron shit for ring chasing keep that same fucking energy when Brady does
I'm going to be legit pissed. I'm going to be legitimately fuck off, dude.
Because people don't realize it, but Brady's already gone ring chasing once. And if he goes to the Niners and goes to a stacked-ass Niners team,
I'm going to be pissed.
I really, 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 really hope everybody in Boston keeps that same energy that they have for LeBron and all these NBA players. I know they won't, but I'm going to make sure that I remind them.
No, because you're going to see a bunch of people wearing Tom Brady. Honestly, that's kind of a cool jersey, like the 49ers. Brady in a Tampa jersey, disgusting looking. I never thought that was cool. I thought that was just ugly and hideous shit. Brady in a 49ers jersey, all right, that's kind of cool. I'm not going to buy one, and I'm not going to support him.
49ers jerseys are very crisp.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Brady went to the Chargers, I'd be like, ooh. I have a reason to buy a Chargers jersey.
Oh, powder blue. But no, to answer your question, Pat, I think LeBron's done in L.A. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers tried to move him in the offseason.
Dude, they should.
And just say, fuck it.
Send him to the Trailblazers.
Honestly, this whole Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony thing, all these guys, let me start before that because those were ancillary players. The LeBron AD thing, it worked once. I don't know that it's ever going to work again. Yeah. And I would be completely fine with the Lakers kind of blowing it up, especially, honestly, I think if you move LeBron, you got to move AD too. Because you can't really keep, you can't build around AD. He's not reliable enough. He's too injury prone. I don't know who they would go get, but I think at that point you bring in a bunch of B+, B- players.
Dude,
and stack up some draft picks and kind of hope to hit. I don't know. I think the Lakers are going to be. I think it's going to be another one of these kind of flux. Next 2 years are going to be kind of like iffy for the Lakers.
Straight garbage.
But the good thing is that, you know, like I always say, we're the Lakers.
Yeah.
And we get who we want whenever we want for the most part. So it really doesn't matter. They're just going to go out and be like, oh, you're a free agent? Welcome to L.A. And they're going to go, cool. I'll do that.
I still want the Dame.
Oh, I want Dame Lillard in purple and gold so bad.
Yeah.
Big game Dame.
I've stopped watching the Celtics this year. I won't go back.
Yeah, me too. I have no idea about what's going on.
I said it. I said it
I
back.
already started.
Nope.
Sean, I got one question for you.
Go ahead. What's up?
Would you rather get like an Allen Robertson or a big wide receiver for Mac, or re-sign J.C. Jackson for $1 bajillion?
No, J.C. Jackson's not going to be that expensive. He's probably going to get like 4 years, $72 million. To be honest with
I
you.
heard he's gonna get like 18 a year. I'm not good at math. That's probably like.
That's exactly what I just said.
You think they? I know I suck at that. Do you think they pay him that?
Yeah. I'm totally fine with JC getting because JC's only 26.
And you got to remember, too, Pat, the cap next year is going to explode.
Dude, and Belichick, Belichick.
That contract is going to be this time next year. That contract will look like a deal.
Belichick booted out Stephen Gilmore or Stephon Gilmore. I was actually right.
Gilmore.
Yeah,
All
I said Stephon. Like I said it with an emphasis.
Like Stephon
He
Diggs.
booted out Stephon Gilmore and just said JC's my guy. Like without saying that, because Belichick doesn't talk to the media about shit like that. But he said, "Nope, I don't want Gilmore anymore. Thanks for what you've done. You're on the back end of your career. Adios." And he just booted him out. And Belichick loves nothing more than promoting from within, because he wants the guys in the team to see, like, listen, if you play good, that whole misconception of the Patriots don't play people is bullshit. We pay guys that we want to be here because either they're cultural leaders, they're part of the defense. We've paid those guys. We paid Seymour the first time around. We didn't pay him the second deal. We paid Vince Wilfork. We paid the Teddy Bruschi's. We paid Donta Hightower. We moved on from Chandler Jones, who actually might come back. I mean, they pay the guys they want to. We paid McCourty top of the market. We paid, all these guys that we kept
Top of the market to you.
We paid these guys because that's who they want to create the culture. If Patriots let guys go, it's because they're like, listen, we're going to cap you at this much. You're not as important as these other guys to us, and that's the whole thing. I think JC is the next defensive back leader. McCourty's going to be retiring. McCourty said one more year. Donta Hightower is probably already done. He probably might retire this offseason already. I think JC's not going anywhere. I really think that JC likes it here. I think he likes Boston.
Dope.
That's just me. And honest to God, I heard a rumor today that the Patriots are all in on Juju Smith-Schuster, and I was like heartbroken.
Love it.
It's about 2 years too late.
Nope, I love it because that would be an absolute.
That's a Patriots pick, 100%.
Gem of a low.
That's what it is.
Inexpensive free agent signing of that is the perfect kind of guy. That is the absolute quintessential Belichick guy.
Sure is.
High IQ football player, kind of a bonehead off the field.
Yep.
That guy's got Belichick recovery project written all over him.
But I really, really, really want a number one guy. And Belichick does not believe.
I don't know if you're going to get one this year.
No, I don't think so either.
Because I don't know that there's one available.
Well, I'd take Godwin in a heartbeat.
Isn't there a ton of free agents?
Godwin,
for wide receiver?
Yeah, but I don't know. Can you afford Godwin though?
We can afford. I was gonna say 2 max contracts. That was fucking ridiculous. I just said that. We can afford like 2 15 to 18 million guys, plus still have enough room.
See, I think Godwin's going to get more than that. I think Godwin's going to get somewhere in the neighborhood of 2021.
I think Godwin might take a 2-year deal or a 1-year deal because he's going to want to reset his value after the ACL tear.
That actually could work out in your favor. Yeah, you get him on like a 1-year rental kind of thing.
Yes, and you get max production because the guy's going to want to show out for free agency, and I love those deals. That's how I base all my. This is fantasy football second. If guys are in the last year of their deals, I draft those guys like fucking nuts because those guys overproduce those final years to go out and make money.
Contract year guys always.
That's just me.
But no, I think that would be. I think if you could pair up Juju and Godwin. Oh my God! And then because now you're going to give. I'm
cutting Aguilar. I'm not paying him 11 million.
No. You're not paying him, but you get him, and then you get Hunter Henry, and I think Jonnu Smith is eventually going to figure it out.
Yeah,
I think a new offensive coordinator will figure it out because Josh McDaniels was like, oh my God, I should have told this to Durant last week. Josh McDaniels said, I can't wait to use a double tight end set in Las Vegas with Waller and the other dude there. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You didn't use it here. And you had 2 top tight ends. Oh my God.
I think he was thinking more Hernandez Gronk than he was Jonnu Hunter.
I want to kill that man. I'm glad he's gone. I'm so frustrated.
Josh McDaniels, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, not Durant.
All right,
No,
boys.
I-
I'll
No.
be listening. I'll be commenting, listening, boys. You guys have
Pat, thanks for the call, bud.
Appreciate it, Pat.
Thanks, bros.
Later,
Bye.
bro.
What was I gonna say off of that? I had a really quick question. Double up on that. Yeah, the Patriots. I don't know what the hell they're doing on offense. I'm scared of the shit. They have no offensive coaches. They're like Joe Judge and Matt Patricia are gonna call the offense. I'm
mean,
just gonna
does it-
end my life.
Does it matter? Really? Does
Yes,
it matter?
I'm
I
terrified.
don't know that it matters because as
Joey-
long as the hoodie is involved,
Joey,
the right guy will be in
I
the
didn't
right
want
position.
two coaches back in the Patriots after they left. I
Joe
didn't want Matt,
Judge?
I didn't want I didn't want Matt Patricia to come back, and here he is. And I didn't want Joe Judge, and here he fucking is. And I'm like, I feel like that guy on the TikToks. Like, what am I gonna do?
Emotional damage.
I wanted Bob. Give me back Bill O'Brien. We flourish under that dude. I don't understand.
Yeah, Bob was good. He was great for you guys. But that's the thing, though. You got to remember when you bring these guys back in under Belichick, it's different than what you saw with them
I
out on
know.
their own. Everybody who leaves the the Belichick coaching tree
Shit.
is got to be one of the most failed coaching trees of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I mean, it is insane how these guys will
God damn it, Pat.
they'll cut their teeth under Belichick for a decade, and then they'll go to be a head coach somewhere, and they're just like, meh.
Dude, I
don't know what a football is. How do we football again?
Dude, I thought
What is
Flores was gonna make it, and then Flores got fired, and he was like racist, and I'm like, oh no, he failed too. Like I don't understand what happens to these guys. Like the only guy you could actually say who flourished after he left was probably Romeo Crennel. He didn't want to be. He was a head coach briefly, but he didn't really want to be a head coach, and he was been a defensive coordinator for like 15 years after he left.
Right, but I'm saying as a head coach. I mean, Bill O'Brien is the most successful one. It's not even close.
Yeah, I guess he basically ran
Because I mean,
Houston
he ran the Texans into the ground, but he also ran them into the playoffs a bunch of times too.
in one AFC Championship game. One.
No, they lost the divisional round to the Chiefs.
Okay.
Remember that was the fake punt, up 24-0. They ran the fake punt. That was the divisional round.
And that was the
because
game-
they lost
What year was that?
That was 2019.
And that's when Walker hurt in the playoffs again.
That was the year. That was the year that Kansas City won the Super Bowl because then they went on to beat the Titans.
Speaking of what, he also wants out of the Cardinals now too.
I feel like the Cardinals are all of a sudden like a sinking ship.
Dude, everyone hates everybody there. Everyone's just like, get me out of this place. Like this midget.
I got lime sody waddies downstairs under the bar.
I think Kyler Murray just has Napoleon syndrome, and everyone just doesn't want to be around him. They're like, this dude is just an asshole.
I mean, it's just so interesting because it's you.
No one says anything bad
got a
about
kid that
Kingsbury.
talented, right? You got a kid that talented, but like, what in God's name? But that does fall on Kingsbury, in my opinion, because if you have the diva quarterback and he's a head case and he's this and that, as the head coach, your one job is to get everybody pulling in the same direction.
Sure, of course.
And if your franchise is attached to this midget bobblehead with a rocket of an arm, your job is to get everybody to buy into that midget rocket arm. I'm sorry, but that's your job as a head coach. And that's where Kingsbury, you could make the case, is failing.
It's hard to say he's failing when they had that good of a season, but they looked bad in the playoffs.
Well, they started off, 7-1?
Yeah, and they finished kind of strong.
10
No,
7?
weren't they like 11-6 or 12-5 or something?
Maybe
like
they
that?
were, but they at one point I think they were 7-0.
Yeah, they started off red hot.
Yeah, they finished 11-6.
Yeah, okay, that's exactly
Yeah,
what
they
I
were
thought.
7-0, only to finish 11-6. So, I mean, not a great finish, especially when you look at that 3-game losing streak with the Rams at the Lions and the Colts.
But that was when a bunch of teams that had COVID too. Like, don't forget a couple of Arizona games. Like a lot of the team had COVID, and like half the team had to miss the game. Which it is whatever. It's COVID season.
And,
Shit.
yeah,
still,
but it affects
whatever.
everybody.
Exactly.
And where's DeAndre Hopkins been? You know,
Hurt again.
What is going on with that? Like, that guy was a rock for the Texans for years. Goes to Arizona,
Wheels
one good
fall off.
year, and just that's it.
Yep.
Again, which brings me to one of my reoccurring points on the show. Do not invest, and I know the Cardinals did, do not invest heavy resources into wide receivers.
We didn't talk about it, but we can no longer say that.
Yes, we
How
can.
often have we said on this show and all sports shows in general, name me one wide receiver who's carried their team to the playoffs and a Super Bowl win? We can name one guy now. Cooper
No.
Kupp.
We can name. A receiver.
Yes.
But you could also make first of all, he was already there. They didn't invest heavy resources into him.
No, but he's the only guy that you can ever say like
Thank you.
he can be the only guy that ever breaks that rule. Like what? What's
No,
your-
no. I would say no. All right. Wins the Super Bowl. He has to. If you mean wins the Super Bowl, okay. But I don't know that Cooper Kupp carried them because.
Are you sure?
Do they win it without Cooper Kupp?
No.
Probably not.
Mhm.
But do they win it without Odell? Probably not.
Probably
Do
yes. They already did.
Do they win it? Do they win it without Eckler? Probably not. What do you mean they won it without
Eckler's
without
not on
Odell?
that team.
I'm sorry. What did I say? Not Eckler. The other.
Weddle.
No,
No.
the other running back in LA.
There's no one there.
The
Sony
ru-
Michelle?
No,
Henderson?
Austin Eckler.
That's
No.
That's San Diego.
That's San Diego.
No, what's the fucking kid that fumbled twice against Brady?
Oh, Cam Akers?
Akers. Thank you. I'm
Oh,
like,
but he just got
I
back.
knew you were talking about something.
I know, but he's a fucking great player. He's a great player, right? Okay, that
He's
Rams.
all right.
Look, the Rams were stacked going into this season. We knew that. We all knew this.
They
we
were
all
all
knew.
in.
They went all in. They went all in on Matt Stafford before the season, and then during the season they grabbed Von Miller and Odell. They've already got Aaron Donald. They've got Jalen Ramsey, who, by the way, played a pretty good game in the Super Bowl. I don't know if anybody.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
Jalen Ramsey was trash.
No, he did not. No, he did not. He actually go back and watch the film. I'm telling you, I
I'm
went back.
not even counting
I
the
went-
face mask.
I went back and watched it. Jalen Ramsey played a hell of a lot better than people are giving him credit for.
I don't know, man.
A hell of a lot better because there was a lot of times.
They threw at him a lot.
There was and there was a lot of times he was right there, especially on the undercutting, crossing routes and stuff. I watched Baldy and somebody else break it down the other day.
I'm not saying he's Eli
And
Apple, but I'm
he
saying
was he was actually outside of the T Higgins face mask
The
that didn't
75
get
yarder.
that didn't get called, and the ridiculously absurd catch that Jamar Chase made on him. Outside of those two plays, Jalen Ramsey was like pretty much he was untouchable. I'm telling you, go back and watch.
I'll watch it again when it comes on next time on NFL.
I just
Network, I'll watch it
wanted to
again.
throw that little sidebar out there because I keep seeing people give shit to Jalen Ramsey, and I'm like,
I did.
and I didn't remember
I
him
saw
having
a lot of it.
I didn't remember him having that bad of a game during the game, except those two plays. I'm like, okay, and whatever the face mask one,
Not his fault.
not his fault. You got beat. The
Right.
Jamar Chase one, look, at some point, like sometimes somebody is just there. Someone's gonna beat you. It's gonna happen. It was a great throw and an even better catch. And Jamar Chase is, for
Oh my God.
for all intents and purposes, the future of the league at wide receiver right now.
We gotta wait until next year. Everyone hits a sophomore slump, and Jamar Chase could go from ridiculous rookie of the year this year to like middle of the pack journeyman next year.
Yeah,
like
you never know, man.
that's what sucks with wide receivers.
I
Like
know.
everyone's just like, oh my god, this guy is next level, gonna play out of his mind, be good for 15 years.
Well,
and
that's
that guy
because
is garbage.
that's because in this league, and again, this goes back to my whole don't invest heavy resources into receivers.
That's tough.
If they're so quarterback dependent. You long gone it feels are the days of guys where Randy Moss can go out and make Jeff George look good when he comes in a backup role. Or, he can go out and make Matt Castle look good and go lead the league in touchdowns with the backup quarterback throwing him the ball. Those games those days I feel like are gone. Or there's just not that much that these guys are they're talented, but they're very scheme dependent and very quarterback dependent.
Right.
6-1, I guess, it feels either way. But look, at the end of the day, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, like those two guys right now, as far as young dudes in the league, they look like they're going to be battling this thing out like, I don't know, fucking T.O. and Moss.
Shit, even Jalen Waddle you can throw in there. He came on hard in the end of the year.
Yeah, Waddle came on really hard. I mean, we haven't even really seen what Jerry Jeudy can do. I mean, we've seen flashes of it, but we've never seen him with a real quarterback yet.
Speaking of same draft class, C.D. Lamb. Who
C.D.
I'm
Lamb.
a gigantic fan of.
I'm a huge C.D. Lamb guy, too. So, I mean, there's a lot of talent out there, but again, that just comes back to the whole. But I just wanted to.
Who's Hollywood? Hollywood Brown?
Hollywood Brown? What about him?
He's getting lit the fuck up.
Is he? Yeah.
Nah, Hollywood
He
Brown. Yeah,
gets
he's been
blown up
he's
a
been
lot.
I know he
fairly
was coming up big.
He's
I didn't know how
fragile.
he was doing.
He's-
I just thought the name was thrown in there.
He's
usually,
very
but-
fast, cousin of Antonio Brown. He comes from a good family that's like
Oh,
athletic.
Is he? Is he?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's why he's called Hollywood
So
Brown.
he's got meltdown all over
But-
him coming up.
but let me tell you-
Ah, let's not paint with a broad
He's
brush
a,
here.
he's a tiny kid, and he's got blown up and missed some time already.
Yeah.
But everyone's saying that the other kid they drafted for Baltimore, he's going to be the one to watch. Oh, my God. He just drafted him last year.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, too. Fucking
Damn it. Rashad Bateman.
Bateman. Thank
Yeah,
you.
everyone's
Oh,
saying
Bateman.
he's going to be like, he reminds them of like Anquan Bolden. That's what he reminds them of.
But, yeah.
I just wanted to throw that in about Jalen Ramsey though, because I see a lot of Jalen Ramsey slander all over social media,
Probably me.
and I just want to be fair, okay?
Would he give up $150, $160?
Yeah, but that's including the 75 yards.
75 yards.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, one play was basically the chunk of that. So what, like, any normal corner would have given up, like,
But then
300
Jamar
yards,
Chase
he
had
gave
that
up
other
a
long
$160.
touchdown on him too, which
Right.
was just an insanely nice catch.
And don't forget the last play of the game, which didn't happen.
Right, he
Ramsey
got
fell down.
Well, he fell. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, but
And listen, I know
that
what
could
it could have, should have.
that
I'm
was
not going
probably
to do
the
this.
third worst play he made.
What it could have, should have. I'm not going to do that. But if Burrow doesn't get sacked by Aaron Donald and he throws that easy completion to Chase, Ramsey loses the Super Bowl for the Rams.
Yeah, he's the goat. He's probably the goat at that point.
Honestly, if Burrow would have, like,
And not in the
rolled
good
out
way.
the other way and just hummed it down and they had won, I probably would have been fucking pumped on it. That would have been a sick
Yeah,
play.
I would have been okay if the.
It still would have been like a minute and 12 seconds, a minute 10 seconds ago, though. I think, right?
No. That was
No,
Oh, no,
they
that
got
was
the ball back
under
with
a
like a minute and 10 seconds, a minute and 12
That's
seconds.
what it
that
okay.
was the fourth down play.
No, I know, but how much time was left? If he had hit Joe, if he
Just
hits,
over a minute, because as soon as the Rams get the ball back, they kneel it twice, and the team doesn't take any timeouts. They're like, fuck it, we're dead.
Right. But I'm saying is, there would have been like what 45 seconds left on the clock
Something
if
like that.
Jamar Chase catches that and walks into the end zone.
Didn't Ramsey fall on the last play that Donald sacked him on?
Yes, that
on
was
the-
what we're
we're
talking
talking
The
about.
fourth play, yeah,
Yeah.
with no seconds left. The last
no,
play.
no,
that
there
wasn't
was-
the last
no.
play.
No, there wasn't. That was the fourth down play, but still like a minute left to go.
There was still, I think, if he had hit Chase on that play, it would have been like 40. Whatever. We're lamenting over something that really is irrelevant.
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
There's no point.
I
in-
hate that shit.
What?
I love talking about it, but I hate that shit. Like, people have revisionist history. People are like, but if Asante Samuel caught the ball, but he fucking
Yeah.
didn't.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I love playing the what if game, but
If
we're sitting,
Devontae
but we're
Freeman
sitting here
picked up
trying to
the
figure out
block.
how many seconds would have been left on the clock, like it
Yeah.
fucking matters.
I just thought the play.
I
thought the play where Jalen fell down was the last play of the game where Joe Burrow got sacked and he just
It was.
tried to hum it up to
no,
fucking
there was
mix it.
the Rams took 2 knees after that.
Yes.
Oh wow! All right.
So there was
The Rams came in the field, and they
so
did
there was
victory
there would have been
formation.
at least 30 4 there would had to have been at least 45 seconds or 41 seconds left on the clock.
right.
Joey Fats Radio, row 1C1.
I'm back, bitches.
I want the monkey to have a sports opinion, though, before he hangs up.
I don't. Just
What? What?
Are you Harambe's cousin?
No, I just eat Chunky Monkey.
Oh, that's too bad because I would
That's not even the good Ben and Jerry's.
you should be. I mean,
I
hope-
know.
Palmy ass
My
ice cream.
roommate took it.
My roommate took it.
Well, it's all right. We'll take you to the zoo. Maybe you can get ice too.
Well, thanks, though. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Wait, so how do you feel about sports?
NBA All-Star.
That's exactly how the NBA All-Star game went, to be honest with you. Actually,
I
that
heard
was
it was terrible. I
that
heard
was
it
more entertaining than the dunk contest. where
Yeah.
you just
I
Well,
heard,
I heard the dunk
I heard
contest
the
was-
dunk contest was absolutely.
What was so
trash.
shit about it? I saw absolutely no highlights,
All
no
right.
nothing. Nobody even
I'll-
posted about it. Like I usually
Dude,
like,
I'll send
run
you
in.
some highlights. It's bad. Like the dunks were just terrible. They
Were
they
they?
kept missing dunks like left and right. Dude, they showed Kareem get up at the end and it was just like put on his hat. Like he was like the Grandpa Simpson meme. Put on his hat and walked right before it even ended. He was like, I'm fucking done.
Bye.
No shit.
Dwayne Wade at the end of it was just like he held up like the 9 ones. He goes, I'm gonna give this dunk contest a 6, and he was being kind. And everyone started laughing because he gave the whole
Wow.
dunk contest a 6 total.
Yeah, I heard it was pretty bad.
But it's because people were just missing dunks. Guys were doing like windmill dunks that people have been doing like in games for like 50 years now, and like people are like, this is not impressive at all.
Well, I mean,
It was very unimpressive.
but at what point? Okay, I'm glad you brought this up because this is kind of an off-topic thing that we really didn't have on the agenda. But I feel like this could be for a decent debate. At what point do you run out of shit to do with the basketball by shoving it in a hoop?
Pretty
Like,
much.
I mean, there's really like it's not like we talked about this the other day, right? We were
It's
talking about
it's about creativity.
right, but what can you do with this? How long has the dunk contest been going on? 30
long
years,
time.
35, 40 years?
You gotta think outside the box. You gotta make people laugh. You gotta do something that's.
What do you want? A guy to
if-
jump from the rafters with a fucking parachute?
Thank
and come
you.
down and be like, "Ah!"
This is what I was gonna
all
say.
right, like,
You have to jump the shark with this shit. Like everyone's just a tomahawk. Everyone's taking this all serious. I want a guy to come in this and take nothing seriously. Him to just drive like a monster truck on the court and just be like, surprise! And just jump out of the monster truck and dunk
So
it.
you want to do like what Dwight Howard
Shot out
and
of a
Blake Griffin
cannon?
did, where they like raised the hoop to 10 feet and then
Yes.
jumped over Kias and shit.
Yes.
Like, no, see, that was gimmicky. That was
Yes.
bullshit. But here's my thing with the dunk contest,
He
though.
gave him mad money to do that. He
Yeah.
was in commercial.
Yeah, it was kind of, but that was lame as shit. I thought that was super gimmicky and super lame. But
This was worse.
I understand the criticisms that people have, but at the same time, what else can you possibly do with the basketball?
You're running out of shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like
You're
we
running
were
out of
we were
shit.
talking about this the other day. We were watching. I don't know. We weren't watching it, but the Winter Olympics were on the TV. We were having lunch,
Trash.
and the Winter Olympics were on the TV. I watched 0 seconds of it,
Nobody did.
and I know
watched a
apparently
bunch.
nobody. And we were talking about the evolution of snowboarding and how 25, 30 years ago, like when the X Games first came out and all this other stuff, like 720s and 980s or 1080s,
900s.
900s and 1080s were like, whoa. Now you got guys doing like 1772 zip-de-doo
1880s.
businessman 9000
Seriously?
fucking
1880, 2160. I forget what it goes. It obviously goes by revolutions of 180, but my math sucks. So, yeah, there is shit
Don't you
actually
mean revolutions
beyond.
of 360?
Huh?
Don't you mean revolutions of 360?
No, no, it goes by.
well, they measure it
180.
by 180. So
Okay.
They
measure by
so
half a
180, 360, 540, 720, 900.
Okay.
But it goes all the way up to like 1880 is what is that, 5.5 or something like that, or something like. They measure some pretty serious. I think the biggest thing in the
let me
competition
get out my
is this-
calculator.
it's a 1620 is what they normally land in competition, like a skier. I don't think snowboarders.
A 1620 would be 4.5 revolutions.
Yeah, 4.5 rotations is what a 1620 is what normal skiers in the Olympics for like slope style or big air or big jumps usually
That's
put
crazy.
down.
So
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
because and if you remember, I had said this while we were sitting there watching it, and I'm like because I kind of the Winter Olympics is always like kind of like silly shit like
Yeah.
curling, like all right, like and I love the Jerry Callahan's take on this, like how do you know you're the best in the world at curling? Like nobody does it. Like,
I know.
you know what I mean? Like how do I know
Anybody
I'm
can
not
get
the
on
best
that team.
curling guy? Like or like how do you become the best in the world at like the luge? You're like, all right, I'm gonna go down this thing on this sled and I'm gonna go super fucking fast. But you're just like on this ice thing. It's like, all right, keep it on the
Skeleton
rails
and
and
shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
I'll
Like-
tell you something.
Like, how do you know you're the best in the world at that? But hold on, my point with this was we were getting into the whole snowboarding thing, and Paul brought up a good point because obviously him and everyone in my family skis, snowboards, does something other than I'm the only one that doesn't. So I don't understand it from the like kind of the same point of view that they have. And I'm like, all right, like how many more twists can you really get? Like how many more revolutions can you get out of something? And Paul brought up the point where he's like, dude, like remember like 1080 snowboarding for N64? Like no one had even landed at 1080 at that point when that video game came out. And I was like, and he was like, now they're landing like 1600s and
1620s.
18s.
1440s is usually snowboarding. You usually get less rotations out of snowboarding than you do skiing. Skiing,
Right, yeah, so yeah,
generally
right,
gets more
1440.
rotations.
Like I remember landing a 1440 in Cool Borders once. That was pretty sweet. But like,
SSX tricky, bro.
yeah, but like, I was like, how much more can you possibly get out of this sport? Like, okay, you're just trying to get as much air as you can and spin around as many times as you can and then land without eating shit. I'm like, at some point, right, physics is going to say, no. Like, enough is enough. And I feel like we've entered into that portion of the NBA dunk contest because the NBA dunk contest has now been around longer. You know, dunking balls has been around longer than people have been snowboarding, right? At some point, and snowboarding continues to progress. Skiing continues to progress. They're not there yet. There's still guys that are going bigger and harder, and that's all great, and it's really cool to watch.
And to the skiing and snowboarding advantage that they have over basketball is that you can constantly change the terrain and the things that skiers and snowboarders do to adapt
True.
to new tricks and things like that.
See, you're not thinking outside the box enough. If I'm a basketball player, I would say bring in
But-
a foot of snow, and
But
I'll
that's
dunk
that's
through
what
the
I'm
snow.
saying. Like how much can you do around dunking a ball in a hoop to
Right.
make it like that much more exciting?
When Jordan took off from the free throw line in 1989 or 88 or whatever it was, we were in awe. Like the whole world was captivated. It literally became the logo of one of the biggest brands in the world. when we saw Dr. J do his thing, or we saw Vince Carter stick his arm in the hoop and hang there. Like, when we saw, like, we've seen some shit in our days. But you got to remember, like, that, what was that? The Vince Carter one was what, 2000? 2001?
It was on the Raptors, right?
Yeah, that was.
I think it was 21 years ago. No, I think
We're
it was
talking
01.
20 plus years ago.
Yeah, I don't even know.
And that right there was probably the peak dunk contest. I mean, we haven't seen one better than that since. And what I'm getting at with the dunk contest is this. If you don't have the star power, which the NBA doesn't because nobody does the dunk contest.
None of the stars do.
None of the stars
Nobody
do.
dunks anymore. Everybody shoots fucking threes.
Well, none of the guys, we've never seen LeBron in a dunk contest.
Not interested.
Or at least none that I can remember worth note. I don't think he's ever done one. You know, we've never seen anybody. We never saw anybody in that like upper echelon elite player like you used to participate in the dunk contest. It's just kind of a fad that it is kind of faded away. Like nobody's really interested in it anymore. And if no one's interested in it anymore, where's the innovation going to come from? Where's the new thing going to come from that's going to get people interested? Because I couldn't name one guy. I think maybe Karl Anthony Towns
maybe
was in the dunk contest.
Yeah,
I think he
Cat.
might have won it.
I don't even know if he won.
Oh no, he won the 3-point shootout. That's what it was.
I had no
Okay.
idea.
So,
I
yeah.
didn't watch a single minute of it.
I didn't even know it was on.
Dude,
Didn't even know it was taking place.
I saw.
Didn't even know this was All-Star Weekend.
Me neither. I was scrolling through my fucking like the guide or whatever, and I see like Team LeBron versus Team who? Who was the other guy? Who was the other team? I have no fucking idea. And I'm
James
like
Earl Jones.
All-Star Weekend, and I'm like, oh. And I kept
I had
going.
no idea.
I think I put on like Motor Trend or whatever and watched some like old episodes of like
The one
fucking
thing-
Bitchin' Rides or something.
The one thing I died laughing at was doing introducing like all the players and Hall of Fame guys and shit like that. And that Ray Allen came out and
Oh, Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett
Garnett and
stank eyed
I
the shit out of
saw
him.
something
Garnett
about
and
it.
Paul Pierce just blew him off, and they were just like,
It kind of gave me more respect for Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett is not one of my favorite players, notably on this show.
no.
People know
if-
how I
if-
feel about
if
Kevin
you-
Garnett.
If he played for the Lakers, you would fucking love him.
I love
because
KG.
he is an old school. No, you turned your back on us. You're a piece of shit to me in real life forever. Like, this isn't like we're not boys. We played the same thing, but
Oh,
we
yeah.
played competitively.
Yeah.
He held that shit against him for life. He's
Kevin
like,
Garnett's an OG, man. I'm telling you, he was my favorite individual player before he came to the
I
Celtics
remember.
on the Timberwolves.
Right. I remember you liked him when he was a in
Yeah, Timberwolves.
middle school or early high school or
yeah,
something.
I
whatever
thought
it was.
KG was a badass.
KG was cool. I didn't mind him then. I couldn't stand him when he got to Boston for obvious reasons. But then I liked him as a player when he came there. But then I hated his act. You know, when he was there, I felt like he was like a fake tough guy. Like
Nope.
and then he wasn't a fake tough guy, but he was definitely selective in who he picked on. You know,
oh, absolutely.
you know, he was definitely like, when he went after
Charlie Villanueva.
Charlie Villanueva, and
Cancer
it's,
patient.
yeah, and it's like, all right, bro, like you ain't like you bringing that kind of noise to Charlie Villanueva's door, but you know when Lamar Odom and Kobe come to town, you like a church mouse, bro. Like, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? And not to say he wasn't talking shit, but he wasn't bringing that kind of noise, you know? And I don't know. I just didn't really I didn't like his act, if you will. Like the headbutt in the fucking stanchion before, under the post. Like, I'm like, all right, bro, we get it. Like, yeah, like, I don't even mind like the chest bumping and shit like that. Like that shit, like whatever, cool. Like I dig that. But like there was just a lot of stuff he did I didn't care for. But when he gave Ray Allen, like just blew him off, I was like, brother, all right, I gained a lot of respect back for you because you are about it. You ain't just talking. Like those weren't just that wasn't noise. That wasn't noise.
This video
Like,
after.
but
Show me
again,
after.
Ray Allen, KG could probably clean his clock if he wanted to. Not, it's not like he's doing that to Diesel. You know what I mean? It's not like he's coming up to, fucking, I don't know, name a guy, and he's like, oh, fuck you, like Ben Wallace or some shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Big Ben Wallace.
you know what I mean? Like, you ain't doing that to them, but I'm like, all right, like, KG, he's about that noise. I'm like, he's about that. So I kind of gained, actually, a lot of respect back for KG.
Dude, the video is so funny. Like,
And that was
like,
just a personal thing for me.
LeBron does this like weird thing. LeBron's like, yeah, he's doing this like DX like crotch chop, and they like dap up and shit like that. And Paul Pierce is just like, Paul Pierce looking fatter than ever, just like looking like that.
Fuck you,
And
dude.
KG is just staring at the ceiling like,
Yeah, they both blew him off entirely.
Yeah.
I have to
And
see
then
this
a
video.
full 10 seconds later, KG's just like, I'm not sure if that was for Ray or for the next person.
He does the Brett Favre clap when Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner got introduced at the ESPYs.
Yeah. Who's the old retired NBA guy who was like watching all this unfold, and he's just like watching everything like that. I'm dying laughing at this guy's reaction. He's like, "Yo, they ain't gonna even acknowledge Ray," and he's like watching this whole thing, and he's just like,
Didn't somebody go off about T-Mac not being in the top 75? Was that Allen Iverson?
"Oh, probably, yeah."
No,
Allen
but I
Iverson-
was like, how the fuck is T-Mac not in the top 75 all time?
Allen Iverson ain't doing too well either. Allen Iverson's like
No?
losing his mind.
Yeah?
Like he's like him and like AB hang out with some shit like that. Like he says some crazy shit.
Really? Yeah.
But is it true though?
Yeah, but
Because you know what they say.
Allen Iverson went,
What's the
like,
difference?
broke.
What's the difference between a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist and the truth?
Kanye.
About 6 months.
Yeah, okay, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, just give it 6 months, and the conspiracy theorist will probably be proven right. Like people know. The people, if you know, you know.
No.
But no. But the whole NBA back to the dunk contest thing, like, I don't know that there's anything that they can do to revive it. I don't even know that the interest is there for people to watch it. Just like with the Pro Bowl, I think the only All-Star game that really even has any juice left is the MLB one. But even still, like the Home Run Derby, like no one really cares about the Home Run Derby. I care about the Home Run Derby because I think it's fucking awesome. But on a whole, like we're not watching Big Mac and Sosa and Bonds go out and just absolute dick missiles, and you're like, what the fuck?
Dude, so many people this year offered up for the All-Star games. They said just make it like a competition like thing against like skills competition. They said like people said that the Pro Bowl would be fine if they had quarterbacks go out there and just sling the ball into targets that are moving. If they had wide receivers just like catching like ridiculous passes, like everyone's like we'd be fine with that. We don't need like a game that no one gives a shit about. And the players don't even want to play.
That's what I'm saying. No one wants to play it. Nobody wants to do it. It's
They don't
just
get
like,
hurt.
what, like, I don't know. I feel like, and it sucks because we're going through this like weird phase as a whole, like as a sports community as a whole, and probably even deeper than that, probably as a society. But we'll just keep it to sports for this aspect of the conversation, where the All-Star games mean nothing. Like the All-Star games, remember like when you were a kid, like playing even like DY double, if you got selected to the All-Star team to play in the All-Star game, it was like,
damn.
oh shit, like, yeah, I'm in the All-Star game. Like, fuck yeah, bro. Like, it was like an honor. It was a big deal. And, like, you wanted to go and play your absolute best. Now, granted, you know, everybody would just hog the ball and just, like, you know, try to do
there was
their
a
own
couple
thing.
years I got that. I was pretty pumped.
Yeah, I never did. Not even close. I mean, I would have got it if fouling out by halftime was an All-Star credential, I would have been first team All-Pro. But that was not my thing. But, like, no, like, the All-Star game, the Pro Bowl, all these things used to mean something. And now they mean nothing. Right. And nobody cares. Like, I honestly didn't even realize it was All-Star weekend. And quite frankly, I didn't care.
You know why?
They
don't care about it anymore.
I
Not
was
even the
more
NBA.
focused on what was going on in Daytona with the Twin 125s on Thursday night, the truck race on Friday night, the Xfinity race on Saturday night, and the 500 on Sunday. That was all I cared about from Thursday to Sunday. Those are the only things I gave a shit about. And you ask Paul, I could not fucking wait for Daytona. I was like, literally like midway through the third quarter of the Super Bowl, I'm like, hey, this time next week, be about 10 laps left in the 500. And he's just like, looks at me, he's like, it's not, the Super Bowl's not even over yet. Like, what are you like? I'm like, don't care. Can't wait. Like that. So to me, like the whole All-Star break and the whole All-Star, like this whole thing is it's so watered down. It's so mundane. It's so dated. And I think a lot of it has to do with the players. Like you said, nobody wants to play in it. And nobody wants to tune in to watch a bunch of guys that nobody knows who they are play an exhibition game.
And they're our friends. Which I'm sorry, everybody hates that.
It does. It does ruin it.
You can't say that in today's PC world, but people, even young people, they don't know it yet. People absolutely long for drama and hatred. Because every time you see some kind of drama or hatred come up, it's always like the most retweeted, the most talked about, the most comments,
absolutely.
everything. But people would be like, yo, those guys should have some respect as adults. But if you had Kevin Garnett in today's game, and Kevin Garnett's like, I fucking hate this dude with all my heart, everyone's would be like, what a piece of shit, ban him from the league. But then a lot of fans are like, kind of agree with him. Like, I love that shit.
Well, no, there's a very small minority that would say he's a piece of shit, ban him from the league because, and those are the usually,
but they're vocal.
and those are usually the blue check marks on Twitter, which large in part ignore. Like no one cares what Jamil Hill thinks anymore. Like,
I have no idea where she is. I don't care anymore.
Exactly. Jamil Hill. Yeah. She did just demand that Spotify pay a black podcaster $100 million.
Oh, that chick. Yeah.
Because they did it for Joe Rogan. So
Yeah.
she demanded that they do that for a black guy, and I'm like, okay, well, if a black guy comes up with a podcast as good as Joe Rogan's, I'd be all for him getting money.
Why wouldn't? Why wouldn't?
And quite frankly, though, I thought about that, and just to take this on this kind of one-off thing, I thought about it, right? And I was like, oh, fuck you, Jamil Hill. Why? Shut the fuck up. If somebody was worth it, they'd be paid that. But then the other part of me was like, what if she's just doing this literally to get somebody $100 million? There's all this money. Spotify has all this money. All these companies have all this money. And she's just like, all right, you know what? I can't advocate for just anybody to get $100 million. But if I call them racist and claim that they didn't get them $100 million or they didn't pay, black people the same,
Right.
maybe I can get somebody, who knows, one of my friends, paid $100 million. They don't have to be as good as Rogan, but if you call him a racist and say that, I'm just thinking maybe that's just the way my mind works because I usually think 2 or 3 steps ahead.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, man, that's actually pretty brilliant because it's almost like the NFL, right? Where people get mad at players for holding out. Oh, you're greedy. Until that player's his value, it doesn't meet what the team views, and then they cut him, and they're like, well, it's a business decision. What if all these people who are race hustling and doing all this, it's just business? They're just doing it because it's a business.
I mean, it is.
I mean, you don't have to necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily have to believe that. We don't have an African American on this show. Okay, somebody doesn't have to believe and this is obviously would assume I was paying you guys handsomely. Let's say I was paying you guys each $1 million a year to be on this show, right? And somebody's like, well, you don't have a black guy on your show. You should have a black guy and pay him $1 million. And then they basically would extort me into paying somebody else $1 million a year to do it. So now I'm like, okay, well, now I got to make a third chair because we need a black guy to satisfy this person because they're mad. It's kind of a fucking smart move.
Well,
because now you're taking me, who I've got, say, I'm paying you guys $1 million. Say I got $50 million. I can easily afford to pay somebody else $1 million. Do I really lose anything by losing $1 million a year? No. But does somebody gain something by getting $1 million a year? Yes. I mean, it's just kind of a fucking grift. If you get what I'm saying,
yeah.
And if
It
anybody else out, and if any sponsors out there want to give us $1 million to put a black guy on the show, by all means, the phone lines are open.
I will kick Paul out the door. I will put a shoe so far up Paul's ass and throw him down the.
Thank you, Kylie. It was great. Good night.
Paul just quits the show immediately.
It's not much we wouldn't do for $1 million.
Yeah.
But
what was I gonna say? Not about the black guy on the show.
no, were we talking about the All-Star game?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm done with the All-Star game.
No, I was just thinking.
Fans.
I was just thinking because I was one of my shower thoughts I had the other day, and I was like, because you get frustrated when you hear people just demand that oh, you should hire a person of color, affirmative action stuff, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm all for equal opportunity, but I think people they confuse equal opportunity with equal outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And not all, people can realize an opportunity and exploit it into the outcome that they're looking for. So I kind of just started thinking, I'm like, but wait, what if these people are doing this on purpose? They don't give a fuck about Google or Spotify or Facebook. They got billions of dollars. Yeah, just call them a fucking racist and make them give somebody else $100 million. Who gives a fuck who gets it?
I'm actually on board with that.
It all depends, what you're doing, because I think Barstool had to pay 2 of their podcasters. They call her Daddy Girls, even though they broke up. They get $50 million a year. Pat McAfee just got $50 million a year.
Yeah.
But
those guys here's the thing. In the Call Her Daddy podcast,
no, it's falling off.
It's big time falling off, but it was huge for a minute. Yeah, but it was basically just 2 chicks talk about it was basically Maxim magazine as a podcast.
No, just the chicks talked about it. They talked like dudes.
They just slutted it up, right? They were just
Yeah.
like, yeah, like we like to slut it up at the clubs, and this is what we do. And dudes were like, oh, I'm a simp, and like, can I give you more money, please? And like,
Pathetic.
but it worked. It worked. It was fucking brilliant. Those girls made millions. Good for them. Bravo. Like, I mean, genius
Most
fucking
pathetic
idea.
shit nowadays makes millions. Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, look at the Island Boys.
Boys,
Like they made dough, like crazy dope
Dude,
dough.
those kids are gonna be dead in like 6 years.
Crazy dumb,
Fine.
silly dope, dumb
yeah, I
dough.
mean, they made a couple bucks while they were doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
As
whatever.
long as they're dead, I guess. Whatever.
Hey, fuck it.
I mean, look, whatever path in life they choose is fine. I mean, their face looks like a fucking margin in a 6th grader's notebook, but whatever. Like they don't have any other choice but to make money off of what they're doing.
Yeah, run with it, kids.
I mean, either that or they're gonna be like, I don't know. I don't even know if Dunkin' Donuts would hire him at this point.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, no, just run with it. Run with it as far as
But
you
no,
can.
but Pat McAfee, like, okay, he's worth $50 million a year. Like Pat McAfee is now a daily listen. So when I go downstairs, I've got 4 podcasts. I'm halfway through my first one. I've still got 4 hours of podcast to listen to just for today because I didn't normally on a normal day I would get through all of them, but we played golf today, so
yeah.
I didn't get a chance to listen to them. Did you notice I kept my speaker in the bag? You notice I didn't break out my speaker all day?
Oh yeah, maybe that's why I shot pretty well.
Oh yeah. You and Dad all of a sudden, oh man, everybody was happy, nobody was pissed off.
No,
You know,
none of
there's no
that
music.
shit. It was a good day. I fucking
Yeah,
shot my tits.
it's amazing what happens when you don't suck. You should try it more often.
Yeah, whatever.
And then actually don't. See, so we played golf today, right? And Paul outplayed the shit out of me today in every sense of the word.
But I blew up on one.
But he had one bad hole, one par 5 where he doubled the par. It was ugly. It was very ugly. There was a lot of out of the bunker over the green into another bunker, out of that bunker over the green again, and then out of that bunker and over the green.
And to the point where I was just like, well, there's 10, so
So-
I'm just gonna pick my ball up.
So it was like, all right, if I can just chip this in, I can save the double. Nope, that didn't happen. So anyhow, Paul outplayed the shit out of me, and he shot it really well. I was actually very impressed. He piped a couple of drives today where I was just like, we call him Baby Bryson because we know he's got the capability of just absolutely smashing the shit out of a golf ball. And today it came out a little bit, and he was not really swinging for the fences either, which was kind of cool. So anyhow, we played, and I still beat Paul by 3 strokes, even though he blew the doors off me.
Because
in terms
that
of
one fucking.
So you like Bill Belichick that you're like, we're just gonna play the same game the whole game and hope they screw up. And then Paul's like, oh fuck, I screwed up. And Joey's like, sucks.
Basically, that was the
Sucks
only
to be you.
the only difference in the day was Paul had that 10-stroke hole. I didn't. That's it.
That's all it comes down to.
It really does. I forget where I was going with this, but anyway, about people being worth it. But yeah, I have. But that's the thing. I didn't listen to my podcast today, so I've got 4 or 5 hours worth of podcasts that I listen to a day, and only one of them is sports related, and the only one that's sports related is the Pat McAfee show. So because I try not to listen to too many sports shows. Because I don't want my opinions tainted when I come on here on Tuesdays. I want to give you my opinions, give the listeners my opinions the way that I feel that they are, and give you what I know.
Yeah.
I don't try to, because there was a period of time where I was listening to all sports all day.
It gets to be too much.
And you start hearing the same stories and you start hearing the same things, and then it's nice to know, but look, there's not much I can't know.
Yeah.
Without a couple of clicks, and yes, that's the wind. Yeah, it's
Is it kicking that bad?
yeah, it's gonna be a breezy boy tonight. But those people are worth it, right? Like Pat McAfee is worth that kind of money. He was a small, stupid little YouTube live show. Now he's on Sirius XM. He's making cake off YouTube and killing it. I mean, that's just because
he's gonna make more this year in his radio show than he did his whole NFL career combined.
I know.
right, and all he did was parlay his. I mean, not all he did. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's got a great crew of guys that do a really good job producing and writing the show. I mean, they're bona fide comedians on the other side too, which helps. But it also helps when you have a guy who's played in the league, who's boys with AJ Hawk, who's played they have a network of people that they can tap into and do stuff with. So it really does help in that regard. We don't have that. Okay? We went out and we've got guys on our own. Like we did that through our listeners, through friends of ours, things like that. And thank you to all those people that provided us with the ins, to get the guests that we've had on, from Warren Moon to Jarvis Green to,
Hell yeah.
Jared Schuster and Dana Barros and whoever else I'm forgetting. But like we've had the ability to do that, and we've been fortunate to have done that, but we don't have an endless supply of those types of people, so we have to kind of do it on our own, right? And that's what makes those guys worth it. That's what makes Pat McAfee worth it. That's what makes Joe Rogan worth it, because they're doing this right, and they're piggybacking off of their own fame. Mm-hmm. They had a prior career. This is now their backup career. Like, we do this as a fucking goof. This is a hobby for us. Like, we don't get paid a dime to do this. And we sit here and talk to you for 2 hours every week, and a couple of thousand people happen to watch the show.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a pretty fucking fun show. It's pretty solid. I enjoy doing it. Until I'm sick of doing it, I'm still going to do it. Mm-hmm. And the bottom line is that, a lot of these sports shows that we listen to, especially the talking heads on the mainstream networks, the ESPNs and stuff like that, I think my opinion is worth way more than theirs.
Well, you should,
because they're not that it's you can't weigh opinions or anything like that. Like,
you can't
or compare opinions, because they're opinions, but their opinions are based on bullshit. They're scripted. They're told what to say. They're told. I mean, Max and Stephen A. used to fight all the time, and we knew exactly what Stephen A.'s point was going to be. You just look at the topic list, and you knew you could pick which side they were going to be on. Mm-hmm. And then one day they'd throw you a curveball, and they were both in agreement.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, shit. And, I mean, Max Kellerman left the show because, Stephen A. didn't like him. And Max Kellerman was probably sick and tired of being the fucking whipping boy.
Yeah.
Because Max Kellerman, they never talked about boxing or anything like that. And even if they did now, Max Kellerman's a genius when it comes to boxing. He's a huge guru in that.
Is that his specialty?
Yeah,
that's like his thing. Yeah,
that's his thing.
That's his thing.
I didn't know that. I always liked Max Kellerman, to be honest with you. I never really minded him.
He
was just a punching bag for Stephen A.
Yeah,
but I hate Stephen A. Fuck that guy. Like,
I don't.
I
used to like Stephen A. I don't like Stephen A. anymore. He just bores me.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. The whole thing. Someone came on one of his shows the other day, and Michael Irvin was on.
Especially that shit with Tiki Barber a couple of weeks ago. That Bush League shit where he was just like, "Oh, don't make me tell everybody what I know about you." It's like, bro, really? Like, that's where you want to take this?
Yeah,
like, all right, dude.
He's a child.
I've lost a lot of respect for Stephen over the years.
Right.
There was a time when Max Kellerman basically outed, saying he was really tired of the scripted things that they have to come up and pick the arguments. He goes, there was a segment. He goes, I never forgot this because it was just embarrassing and people use it against me to this day. It was my actual opinion. And they said, who would you take if the game was on the line? They gave you 3 choices, and every one of the people would have to pick different people. But they didn't have to, but they were told to pick different people. So Stephen A. Picked all these guys, and the final 3 guys were last shot in the game. Who would you take? LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Andre Iguodala. And then Max Kellerman had to take Andre Iguodala. And they all made fun of him for taking Andre Iguodala, and he made a stupid point. And it was stupid, but Max Kellerman was like, I was forced to take Andre Iguodala.
Right, it was a shtick. It was like, so, all right, you're going to take Andre Iguodala, and that's your punishment for the day, and we're going to rip on you for it. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, it's one thing if it's organic. Like, you and I could sit here and have a conversation.
Yeah, if it's scripted, your fucking show's fake as fuck. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, that's what all those shows are.
Yeah,
that's why I don't watch them anymore.
I like doing Devil's Advocate.
Was PTI ever organic? Was Will
early
Vaughn?
Early
was
on,
Will
yes.
Vaughn
Early
and,
on, it was organic.
early
it was
on,
funny.
yes.
And Will Vaughn and
Kornheiser.
Kornheiser.
Yankees.
I always kind of liked that show.
Don't get me started with that. And he used to always call the Yankees the Yankees. And he was trying. And when the Nationals first came around.
I'm mad. I can see it.
No, I love it. When the Nationals first came around, Kornheiser was responsible for getting Yankees on the final ballot. So Washington almost got named the Washington Yankees.
Yankees, really?
Because he said it so often on PTI and on ESPN broadcast that he was like, people should really consider the Yankees. And it became a Final Four for the Washington Nationals. Like, it didn't win, but it became one of the Final Four team names.
Jesus.
Well, it was like that time when they rickrolled the Mets. Remember that?
Yes.
When we rickrolled the Mets back in the late 2000s, early 2010s. And they were like, the Mets were like, oh, we need a new song. Like, we need a new theme song. And it was just like, they put up songs. And everybody just user-submitted Rick Astley. And then they did it. And they played it the one time because it did win. And they're like, all right, but we're not doing this for all right, we'll give you your little win.
And
stupid internet trolls, but fuck you.
Yeah.
So real quick, do we want to touch on the Juwan Howard thing real quick? I mean, we got the video. Who cares, right?
Play the video.
I will play the video. It's pretty funny, to be
You should
honest.
watch the video. You're gonna laugh because he like caresses the guy's face. He's like, "I love you."
Yeah, it's
With the head coach that
so this is
I
obviously
will
the
remember
interview
that
after the
because of that
he
timeout.
apologizes for
And
nothing. But here's the ultimate.
for someone to touch me, and I think that was very uncalled for him to touch me as we were verbalizing and communicating with one another. So
Mush.
that's what ended up happening. That's what escalated.
And then a melee ensued, which you don't see in that clip right there. But if you watch the full clip,
Machota. He threw a punch.
if you watch the full clip,
I didn't get what happened. I didn't see just
So-
a little scuffle with the
that's
coach.
basically what it was.
Juwan Howard got in the Wisconsin coach's face about a time, pissed off about a timeout that they had called
Who cares?
late in the game, and they thought it was like trashy or whatever. So Juwan Howard
They
expressed
lost the game.
right. And there was, I mean, apparently Michigan is slacking this year. They're not
Yeah,
that
they
good.
suck.
And there's frustration there with the program. And Juwan Howard took it out on this guy, and then he decided to like kind of bitch slap him in the side of the head, which then led to all of like the players jumping in and throwing punches at each other, which was kind of funny. And you're like, oh, way to lead by example. Like, and this is Juwan Howard. This is like a Fab Five, OG Fab Five guy. Like, you know,
I'm not gonna lie, I do love it when basketball players start jumping around throwing punches. It's awesome.
You just want the melee to happen.
Yeah,
too.
I do. I want malice in the
nothing
palace,
bad
too.
ever comes of it. It's just
I love it when basketball players start going all thug and shit and start beating
the shit out of each other. And he was like, yeah. And they're like, all right, we can't hit you on the court, but I can punch you right in the face right here. If this was a rucker, I'd have bodied you by now.
And then,
But
so what Paul is saying is that he loves my Kendrick Perkins idea of having a
there it is, the Kendrick Perkins idea.
What's the Kendrick Perkins?
You've never heard my Kendrick Perkins
No.
theory?
You've never heard Sean's Kendrick
Okay,
Perkins theory?
So
No, I
here's
don't
what
think so.
I allow. So you have to have just one guy on the bench who's just fucking massive mountain of a person.
A goon. You
Who
need a
gives
goon.
who gives a shit if he can play defense or shoot the ball or pass? I don't
He's your
fucking
five
care.
foul monkey.
But
is that what
yeah,
it is?
so like end of the game comes in, like if this is like the fucking finals or like the playoffs, something like that, and you're just getting smoked by like Steph Curry or something like
Yeah,
that,
you need him taken
just
out.
fucking send this guy, just be like, just punch that dude right in the fucking throat.
It's like a bounty program.
And
guy.
then
Yeah, it's like the old
What's
like
gonna-
the old hockey goons. You
what's
know
gonna
what I
happen?
Yeah.
They're gonna eject that guy. Oh no, you ejected this big shit bag, but I took out your best player.
Right.
So
pretty
now
much.
the odds are even up. So now we can have a real series. So it's the Kendrick Perkins theories because I think Kendrick Perkins at the end of his career was just trash, but he was just a giant
Yeah.
dude.
I didn't like Kendrick Perkins at all. Anyway, but
But yeah, but you can just
Yeah.
throw him in the game and just beat somebody up. Who gives
that
a
would
shit
be
if
a
he gets
good
thrown
idea.
out?
Yeah.
See, thank you.
All right, so
If
finally
he's your
somebody agrees
fall
with
guy,
you.
if he's your fall guy or whatever, yeah. That
Oh
sounds like a
no,
great
he's
idea.
gone for 5 games. I don't give a
Oh,
shit.
fuck yeah.
Funny you say that because Juwan Howard. So the Juwan Howard ended up getting suspended for that because,
Shocker.
like I said earlier in the show, the biggest winner of the Aaron Rodgers Instagram thing was Juwan Howard because everybody kind of forgot about the shit that happened on Saturday with Juwan Howard in Michigan, and everybody was just like, "Oh my God, Aaron Rodgers said something." Oh my God, 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 and everybody's like, "Oh." And they just all went all in on that, and everybody kind of and like if you just like scroll to like ESPN's like 8th page, they're like, "Oh, by the way, Juwan Howard's suspended for the rest of the regular season," and you're like, "Oh wow, he's suspended for the rest of the regular season." Like, shit, that's a pretty big fucking deal. Regular season's like, and you go, "Oh wait, that's right. This is college, not the pros. The regular
Right.
season's only 5 more games."
Right.
So you got a 5-game suspension for punching a coach in the face,
Oh well.
which
Totally fine.
I mean.
No well.
Is it though? I mean, his actions did spur his players to punch other players in the face
Love it.
and started a melee in the middle of the floor. That is conduct pretty unbecoming of a coach. I'm not going to lie.
But maybe it gives that team a spark.
I feel like they're done. I feel like 5 games is pretty light. And if it wasn't Juwan Howard,
They're
if it
done.
was just like random assistant coach X, you know, who wasn't part of the Fab Five and wasn't a former NBA champion and wasn't, you know, Michigan royalty, I feel like the penalty would have been a lot steeper.
Dude, he should just come back like on the sideline, wear like a fake mustache, like what's his name for the Mets, like a fake mustache, wear like a thick beard, and just be like, "I'm not Juwan Howard." And they'd be like, "You clearly are just wearing like prosthetics."
Sir, you are 6'10". We know who you are. Go away.
He's like, "My name's Kendrick Perkins."
He's like, I'm not Juwan Howard. I'm Juwan a man. Perkins.
You want a man.
That was an old ass movie at this point.
I don't know. I just every time I see his name, that's all I can think of. So.
Really quickly, I want to bring this up to you guys. I'm not sure if anybody else saw it.
Go
What do you
ahead.
guys think about the Rock potentially saying that he has a deal with the NFL to become like the minor league system?
Well, So is this a second announcement on top of the one?
The first one was kind of like we've partnered up to kind of share the
Yes.
similar ideas about player safety, and then
And
there's
they're going to allow like equipment and rules and
Yeah.
referees
They want a
and stuff.
farm league for like refs and shit like that too, don't they?
Yeah, but they.
Yeah.
But
there's a rumor kicking around that the NFL might be interested in working with The Rock to have like them as a developmental league, kind of like an NFL Europe, but in America.
I mean, I'm all for it because I think I think the more guys that you can get from colleges and high schools, like, look, there's only a finite amount of scholarships to go around. There's only a finite, like, there are guys that are losing money to play college football that are never going to, okay, let's take this for an example, right? Okay, you could have a kid at Appalachian State that is
Appalachian.
absolutely 100% NFL capable.
Sure.
Will never get looked at.
Absolutely.
Okay, and you're just throwing Appalachian State out there as this
I know.
random ass school.
Completely got it.
Could be completely, and you know what? That kid, he might not even be on a scholarship because you don't know what he can do. But you put him in the right situation with the right coaches, maybe you get a little bit more out of this kid, and now maybe he's making a couple of bucks. I'm all for it. I am 100% all for it because I think the more options that players have in the more avenues they have to get to the league, like, for years, it was be great in high school, get recruited, get a D1 scholarship, get drafted. That was your path to the NFL. Now we've seen an influx of undrafted free agents. Those guys were always there, but now it's become more like, okay, like, the Julian Edelmans, the Rod Smiths, the Terrell Davises of the world.
This is basically a way of widening the talent pool.
But
which is, I'm all for.
I'm for it.
There's no arena league anymore. So you're given an opportunity to find the next possible Kurt Warner. He was just bagging groceries and making coffee at a fucking grocery store.
Right.
I'm down for widening out the talent pool for sure.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, but how much of a fucking steal would be for The Rock if he buys the XFL for like $3 or $4 million, whatever it was, with his financial partners, and they get a fucking deal with the NFL to be like a minor league system? He would have made back his money like 50 times.
Right.
This is like an episode of Ballers in real life.
Yeah.
I mean, everything The Rock touches, they might as well give him the nickname of like Midas, because he does everything is gold. Everything he touches is gold.
You're not wrong. I mean, look, The Rock he has positioned himself quite nicely here with this XFL deal. And like Paul said, I'm all for widening the talent pool. I'm all for more people getting more opportunities
Like a
to
farm
showcase what they can do. I still think the primary way of doing it is going to be D1, get drafted, go to the NFL, succeed. But there is going to be a guy at some point because as of right now, they were said that there's no plans for player sharing or player development or anything like that. They're not gonna.
Not yet.
Not yet. But like, okay, why is it that like the Red Sox can kick a guy up to the Portland Sea Dogs and say, yeah, go play AAA or whatever, and go play up here for the summer, and we'll call you back up in September. Why couldn't the Denver Broncos or the Indianapolis Colts send a guy down to the XFL and say, hey, go down here as long as you stay healthy and stuff, and you know what? When the playoff run comes, we can call you up. I think it's great. I think it's good for player safety because it now gives you more options to get more players on your roster for the playoffs, deeper into a season. It's a longer season. We know we're ultimately going to 18 games. This little one stopgap 17-game season, this is never going to last. We were always going to 18 games. It's been inevitable since basically I've been involved or old enough to understand what the NFL really was as a business. It's going to happen. So, yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways.
And another person, I forgot who was online, and I'm sorry if we're friends and I'm like stealing your thunder, but someone said the NFL really wants 4 more teams, and they want those 4 teams to be expansion out of the country teams. So they're talking about Canada, Mexico, England, it's Germany. It's definitely happening.
It's just so rough to think
they
about.
really want a team in Germany.
That I don't think is ever going to happen.
Their NFL is hard.
If that happens in our lifetimes, I'd be surprised.
But let's
wouldn't.
just hypothetically say
Greed, money hungry.
Let's just hypothetically say you get 4 more teams, and then we've talked about it on the show. You're gonna say, yeah, you get 4 more teams. That's an extra 220 players you're gonna have in the league now. Now it waters down the talent level. but does it water down the talent level enough where now you know some of the names because you're watching them in the minor league system? So then there's like some give and take there. So the NFL
Yeah.
might be setting itself up for like, we're going to have more main teams, but you can also watch these guys in the minor league teams now,
Well,
too.
that's all this is. That's this whole thing. I mean, this isn't to improve the quality of the product of
Yeah,
the
they don't
30
give a- they
the
don't give a
32
shit.
teams that are on the field right now. They don't give a shit. Everybody knows that like the USFL kicks off in a couple
Soon.
of weeks.
Yeah, March.
Okay, that league is only going to go as far as quarterbacks will take it.
Isn't it 6 teams?
Whatever, I don't even know.
It's bad.
I don't even know, 6 or 8 teams. It's only going to go as far as the quarterback play takes it. Because if it's bad quarterback play, no one's going to fucking watch. No one cares. Like, no one wants to see shit quarterback play. I made that joke a couple weeks ago when somebody was like, oh, college football is superior to the NFL. And I was like, yeah, I mean, like, if you hate the forward pass and, you know, precision offenses, then, yeah, the college football is for you. Like, that's great. Like, other than that, no, I don't want to watch college football as my primary form of football. Like, absolutely not.
It's 8 teams.
8. That's what I thought. So,
I like the NFL.
yeah. No, I like the NFL, and we have a hard enough time getting quarterbacks to fill that league out. You know, so quality quarterbacks. Let, you got to talk into the mic.
These are some
32
shit
quality quarterbacks.
teams.
You gotta talk into the mic.
These are some shit names and shit logos. Panthers, Generals, Stars, Maulers, Stallions, Gamblers, Breakers, Bandits. Every single logo besides the Stallions. Stallions looks like it's like a knockoff of like.
Gamblers and the Bandits.
The Stallions is like a knockoff of the Denver Broncos. They just like changed it up a little. It's like dollar store Broncos.
I'll root for the Dollar Store Broncos. Where are they from?
Birmingham.
Oh,
Birmingham.
Alabama. Alabama, man. Yeah, I'm down for Alabama. Fuck that.
I just realized the Houston Gamblers was a crooked ass G with a Texas in the middle of it.
Yeah, but where Houston is in the state.
That's just a
Mind you.
fucking wave in a fucking sequel.
We'll do a rundown of those logos like the week before the season kicks off. We'll do a little segment on that.
The Michigan Panthers. What the?
Michigan Panthers.
Michigan Panthers.
Again,
with sharp
a
teeth and
dollar store
claws.
logo of the Panthers. They're just stealing shit.
That looks like a fucking mongoose from here,
Meow.
or like a possum or something. I don't know.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
pretty.
they don't have a
awful.
lot of money.
Yeah.
They're
well,
broke.
they're doing what they can. Got to give them that.
They're giving them what they got.
They're giving them what they got.
I forgot who said that.
I'm
Fucking
giving
died
them what
laughing.
they got, man. It is what it is. But anyway, all right, boys. Well, let's wrap it up there. We didn't touch on the Daytona 500 yet at all, but we touched on a little bit. But I'll just say this about the Daytona 500: I am super excited for NASCAR this year. The next gen cars that came out that debuted, obviously at the Clash on February 6th in LA. It was tough to get a bead because it was a quarter-mile track. It was the smallest track. Like, you don't usually race those cars in a fucking quarter-mile bull ring. I thought the racing there was kind of lame. But what I saw in Daytona out of these cars gives me tremendous optimism going forward for the sport, for NASCAR. First of all, there was 150,000 people. Daytona was sold out for the first time in years. All right, that was great. Second of all, the cars lived up to the hype. There was a couple of tire issues and a couple of things they're going to get worked out, but they're brand new. This is when I say a complete redesign, nothing like you've ever seen in NASCAR before. And then Austin Cindric, a rookie, who comes in and becomes the first true rookie to ever win the Daytona 500. Not only does he win the Daytona 500 as a rookie, but it's his very first start in a points race in NASCAR, and he wins it driving the Penske-owned number 2 car to victory lane, which held off Brad Keselowski, much to his dismay, who's now racing for Roush Fenway. Bubba Wallace finished second and then cried like a bitch about it. He has a Netflix documentary, which I would not recommend, that drops tonight.
But no, ain't gonna watch it.
I won't watch it.
No.
But I will go
watch
in.
it.
I will get into the Bubba Wallace thing at some point during this season because I don't know that I've given my thoughts on it. I know we have some people that listen to the show that are NASCAR fans and that do pay attention to it. And I do want to give my thoughts on that on the show one of these nights. Just because I think he did so much harm to the sport. Way more so than good in the long run. But we'll get into that next week or whatever, the week after that. So thank you, everybody, for listening.
God damn it. While we're on air, the United States and fucking Russia then got worst.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know. It just says this is the beginning of the Russian invasion for Ukraine. Biden is condemning Putin's actions, and they're gonna put fucking bank sanctions on Russia.
Yeah,
we
that
knew
was that's
that
old.
was
That was
out.
old
Yeah.
news. That was 5 o'clock.
It says as of 15 minutes ago.
That was 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
Saturday,
we
bro.
knew
Come
that.
on, Sean, keep up, bro. Your phone's slow, bro.
Yeah.
I don't talk.
Fuck
too,
you.
I don't.
I'm watching it. This is 15 minutes ago.
I don't talk too fast. You just listen too slow. But anyway, Joey Fats Radio. Thank you everybody for listening. We'll be back here next Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. right here live on the one, the only, the New Bedford Guide. Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to give us a like and a share, we appreciate it. The show will also be up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music, I believe, Google Podcasts, all that, wherever you get your podcasts. It'll be up on there right after the show is done, within an hour or two. I usually have it cut up and put up, so you'll be able to listen to it there. So make sure you give us a download, give us a like on Spotify, Apple, give us some reviews. We need and appreciate those. Till next week, everybody, we'll catch you later.
Adios.
Peace.
Peace.